evening, everyone. Great to see a huge crowd tonight. Thanks to everybody for being here. So welcome to the Monday Saco City Council meeting for April 28th, 2025 at 6:30 p.m. I'd like to make note that we have all members of the council present this evening with our City Administrator, John Behenko. Would you please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance? Thank you. Okay, now that takes us to item 4 this evening, and under general, we do have a proclamation to read this evening for National Bike Month. Whereas the League of American Bicyclists promotes May as National Bike Month, which is celebrated in communities from coast to coast. And whereas National Bike Month was established in 1956 to showcase the many benefits of biking and encouraging individuals to try biking. And whereas biking brings people together, encourages discovery, and fosters community engagement. And whereas biking can integrate physical activity into an individual's daily routine. And whereas biking reduces greenhouse gas emissions, air pollution, and reliance on fossil fuels. And whereas biking helps to reduce traffic congestion and the need for large parking lots and other externals of automobile usage. And whereas all bicyclists, whether riding for fun, fitness, or functionality, are part of the movement for safer streets, connected communities, happier people, and a healthier planet. Be it resolved that the City of Saco hereby recognizes May 2025 as National Bike Month. Further, be it resolved that the City of Saco hereby recognizes May 4th, 2025 as National Ride-a-Bike Day. Be it further resolved that the City of Saco hereby recognizes May 7th, 2025 as National Walk, Bike, and Roll to School Day. Be it further resolved that the City of Saco hereby recognizes May 12th, 2025 to May 18th of 2025 as Bike to Work Week. Be it further resolved that the City of Saco hereby recognizes May 16th, 2025 as Bike to Work Day. Signed this 28th day of April, 2025 by myself, Jody McPhail, the Mayor of Saco, Maine. Thank you, everyone. Now, if the rain will just stop, we'll get our bikes out. Okay, moving on to item 5 this evening, that is committee correspondence to council. Are there any committee members wishing to speak? Okay, not seeing anyone seeking recognition. Moving on to item 6 is public comment. If you wish to address council this evening, please step forward to the podium, state your name and address for the record, and you will have 3 minutes to address the council. And due to the presentations this evening and the number of speakers, I will be strict at limiting it to the 3-minute mark.
Good evening, and thank you for letting me talk for a minute. My name is Kathy Stackpole. I am the Executive Director of Ferry Beach Retreat and Conference Center. I'm also a resident and live at 7 Christopher Terrace. So I know that in your budget this year that you have in there $750,000 for beach replenishment, nourishment, dune restoration. And it's a very important part of the beach and I think the assets that we have in the city. With our seasonal influx of more than 3,000 people in the city of Saco, which is about 15% more of the amount of people that come to the city or that are in the city, I think it's really important that we understand the value of the asset of the beach. People come up and spend money in our restaurants, our hotels, and other businesses upon which the city gets tax revenue. The average age of a Saco resident is 43 years. So that means we have a lot of young families in Saco, and we should be paying attention to how they use recreation in our area. Our seasonal businesses also support employment in our area, and with all the cuts that we're seeing to the federal government, it is really important that you help us figure out how we can do beach replenishment, beach nourishment, and dune restoration. Thanks so much.
Great. Thank you.
Do I get her 1 minute, 45 seconds? Good evening, Madam Mayor, members of the council, Mr. Bahenko. My name is Joe Morshed. I live at 20 Rivers Edge Lane, Ward 1. I'm here to speak on behalf of Age Friendly Saco and the Saco Food Pantry. My role with Age Friendly Saco is that of community connector. I'm technically employed by the University of Maine Center for Aging. I'm one of 10 connectors around the state with 75 age-friendly communities. Saco was picked because of its nature and being inclusive to all community members in the community. Because of me being involved in age-friendly Saco, Saco having a connector, we were able to attract a $10,000 Community Connections grant this year, which we used as for emergency preparedness sessions that we just conducted at the Dyer Library. We had 83 attendees. The grant allowed us to buy emergency backpacks that we stuffed with items like crank, AM/FM weather band radios, can openers, safety blankets, life straws, a pill dispenser for 7 days. And we also had a great panel of speakers. We had Fire Chief Dave Hamill, who spoke about 911, what to expect when to call. We had Rebecca Lyons, Saco PD social outreach worker, who tried to get the attendees to sign up for Code Red, also to fill out file of life forms for their refrigerators. We also supplied refrigerator magnets to keep those file of life forms. We had Sophia Smith, director of the Dyer Library, speak about building an asset map of people that you should contact in the event of an emergency and build out from there. We had Andrew Dickinson, Saco Communications Director, talk about all the different avenues of communication that the Saco provides its citizens. And we had Ryan Summers talking about shelters. And before I introduced Ryan, it was interesting because I would ask the attendees at the sessions, do you know we have a shelter? And if so, do you know where it was? And I was really surprised. Most of the residents didn't know we had a shelter and certainly didn't know where it was. So with that, I'll end there because I want to spend my last minute to say I really want you to support the Saco Food Pantry as well. You're all aware of the cuts that have been taking place around the country, around the state, particularly in Maine with the Good Shepherd Food Bank. This is going to have a severe impact on Saco Food Pantry's ability to provide food to those that suffering food insecurity. We are also relying on donations, and those are down as well. So again, I would implore you that you strongly support the Saco Food Pantry request. Thank you very much. Have a great evening.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor McPhail and council members. My name is Nancy Driscoll. I live at 60 Chattagee Road in Saco. I am the bookkeeper and the treasurer for Age Friendly Saco. I'm a volunteer. As you know, we are a nonprofit organization, and we serve the older population in our city. I'd like to say a few words about the importance of the city increasing our funding. As you know, at least what I've heard, about 30% of the city's residents are 55 years old or older. That's quite a number. That's a significant portion of the community. And as these people age, their needs grow, their needs change, and we, Age Friendly Saco, are on the front lines. We're providing resources for them, we're providing connection, we're providing, how would I say it? We're providing services that take isolation away. We provide rides, provide so many things. And this helps them hopefully stay connected with the community, helps them stay engaged, and it helps them stay independent. I think all of us, as we get older, want to age in place. We want to stay in our own home. We want to be independent. That's what our organization tries to do. Since 2016, when this organization was founded, our executive director has been the face of the organization. I'm sure you all know who she is. And she's also managed the day-to-day operational responsibilities of our organization. I kid you not, in a given week, she may work 40 hours or 60 hours, but she works a lot of hours. And while this is remarkable and it's extraordinary, it's not sustainable. This model cannot continue. It's going to be burnout. So as we grow and we want to meet the needs of the people that are in this community. We want to ensure that the needs are met, and the only way we can do this is by requesting these funds to hire a director to meet these day-to-day operational needs. I'd like to leave you with one thought. If Age-Friendly Saco wasn't here doing the work that we do, the needs of these residents wouldn't go away. I think they probably would end up being on the city's shoulders. All the isolation that's experienced, the lack of resources, the lack of transportation to medical appointments, all of that is still going to be needed. And so I think we're not asking for charity. We're asking for a shared investment in the people that live in our community. It's a solution that's already working. Let's keep it working. Help us with the funding. Thank you. Thank you for your time, and thank you for all you do with our community.
Thank you.
Good evening, members of the council and the mayor. My name is David Steed, and I live at 3 Hillview Avenue in Saco. I've been a founding member of Age Friendly, and I worked my way up and helped in different other aspects, but at the moment I'm driving a shuttle, which gets people out of their houses to shopping. These are people that are ambulatory. They're not hindered in any way. They just can't afford a car, or they have eyesight problems and they couldn't do that either. But they're very, very grateful to that because they can get and do their own shopping, and they enjoy that. And we do 4 places actually, and we do it on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And we also pick up people that need to go to the food pantry to get food, and we do that as well with the shuttle. My wife and I and a group of other people as well, other drivers, also pick up people and go to the food pantry, pick up the order and take it to their homes. And we do a lot of stuff besides that, of course, but there's other people going to speak, so I don't really want to take all the space and talk about everybody else. But for me, Age Friendly is the best. Being at it from the start and seeing it grow, and also other parts of the state have Age Friendly, but they've asked us. I'm on the tech team as well, and we do a lot of echo dots. We've done demonstrations for the other states. I've done presentations over Zoom, and the University of Maine just asked us recently, and we just finished doing 3 train the trainers, where other people want to follow us and give out echo dots. They see the benefit of it for the people. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, council members. My name is Ronnie Hanson, and I live at 4 Horseshoe Drive. And I'm a volunteer for the transportation to medical appointments part of Aging Saco. And I'm new to this. I just started a few months ago, I think in January. And it's been such an honor to do this. I can't tell you how moved I have been to see the needs of the people and to hear their stories. And it's an honor for me to see that I'm helping people. And I've learned through these conversations that if that service wasn't there, I don't know what these people would do. They wouldn't be able to go to the doctor. They wouldn't be able to get their medication. I have heard some really heart-wrenching stories. So the need is there. It's real. And I hope that the service will continue and that you will support it. I do want to add that I'm new to Saco. I moved here about 3 years ago. And from the beginning, I was amazed at some of the services that Saco has compared to other places I've lived, including Cape Elizabeth. And I've explained to a lot of my friends the services that I have observed here, and also the one that I'm participating in. And several friends from a lot of different communities have just been amazed. And I know that there are communities that have modeled some of their services against what, based on what's happening here in Saco. So you're all in the forefront of some really powerful stuff going on. And given the state of the world these days, it's an exceptionally powerful service that is provided here. So I encourage you to make decisions from the heart and the head, but from the heart. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Dan McCluskey. I'm a Saco resident, also a veteran in the United States Marine Corps, followed by the Army. I want to acknowledge Linda, Laurel, and all the drivers at Age-Friendly Saco. I'm from Maine originally. I lived in Texas for 39 years painting houses. I moved back home recently 2 years ago. I've had approximately 50 medical appointments. And quite frankly, I'd be up the creek without a paddle if it wasn't for these people and the volunteers. And I want to thank all of those people and all of you for everything that you do. May God bless you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Sheldon Nightingale. I live in Ward 7. As you can tell, I'm obviously here in support of Age-Friendly Saco. But I made an observation here before I get up to speak, and I'm looking around, and I see this blue everywhere. Everybody's in blue. Obviously, Saco is a blue city. I don't know if that's political or not, but at any rate, I want to let you know how proud I am actually to be a member of Age-Friendly Saco and the tremendous work that they do. And I think you on the council here all realize that as well. But also, the city is extremely lucky. There are other organizations besides Age-Friendly Saco that are all volunteer and do tremendous work. I'm a big part of Saco Food Pantry. Saco Food Pantry is open 5 days a week. We serve monthly 900 to 1,000 people. And this is not repeat trips. This is actual people that we serve on a monthly basis. We are supported with donations from the community and businesses. Here again, as is Age-Friendly, we're 100% volunteers. Age-Friendly at any given time has approximately 100 volunteers participating one way or another. Saco Food Pantry, probably 75 people at any given time volunteering. No paid staff for either one of those organizations. We also have a Saco Meals program here in town, and I don't know if you know an awful lot about it. I don't know that it gets a lot of recognition, but it provides 2 meals a week, Mondays and Thursdays, and they provide these meals for free to anybody in the community. There again, they operate just off local donations and volunteers from the community. So, whatever the town can do to support, these organizations, any other organization, is certainly greatly appreciated. And, I think overall the community appreciates what these organizations are doing. With that, I will sit down, and you guys have a great evening.
Thank you.
It's great to see Age-Friendly bringing it on. Good evening to all. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. I'm Stefan Armantis. I'm over at 90 Jenkins Road, and I'm reaching not just as somebody who's a Saco business owner and a board member of Saco Main Street, but as somebody who really believes in what a strong, lively downtown means for a community and the economic value that that provides. When people think about where they want to live or what business they might build, it's not just about the good schools or the plowed streets, although those things definitely do matter, especially over on Jenkins, but it's also the feeling that they get when they come downtown. It's about seeing friendly storefronts like Whimsical Maine or Kiro, neighbors bumping into each other, whether they're getting a coffee at Swell or they're getting a hot dog at Rapid Ray's. Kids getting excited about Pumpkin Fest, beautiful flowers and the planters. It's about that pride and connection and a feeling that you're welcomed, that you're valued, and that you belong in this community. Saco Main Street helps build that community, and it helps create that feeling. We bring the events, the energy, the volunteers, and the everyday support that keeps Main Street vibrant. And that energy pays off in ways that the city can't replicate. Businesses thrive when there's great foot traffic and buzz, and property values rise when the downtown is seen as a destination. And when people feel connected to their town, they stay, they invest, they tell their friends. There's that sense of pride, and new people want to be a part of that too. Every dollar that the city invests in Saco Main Street isn't just spent, it's returned many times over in stronger businesses, stronger neighborhoods, and a stronger sense of place that attracts people. A vibrant downtown isn't just luck, it's the result of a community choosing to care, choosing to invest, and to build something that's lasting. When we invest in our downtown, we're investing in the future of Saco, a future our kids will be proud to grow up and call home. So thank you for continuing that investment and partnership that makes Saco a place we're all proud of.
Thank you.
I've been a Saco resident for over 20 years. I'm here to talk about age.
I'm sorry. Can we
Can't hear me?
help her with the microphone, maybe a little bit? Adjust? Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, that's better. Thank you very much.
I'm here to talk about Age Friendly. What a wonderful organization. They have helped me immensely get around to doctor's offices. to
Would you
hospitals.
state your name and address for the record for me first,
Colleen
please?
Smith, 55 Store Street in Saco.
Thank you very much.
I've made many friends. The volunteers are wonderful. I'm at a loss for words now. The shuttle takes you to the grocery stores in Biddeford and to TJ Maxx. And that's very helpful. I have my food delivered from Walmart, and I like to get to a grocery store once in a while, so it's very helpful to have that. I guess I'm at a loss now. That's all. Thank
No,
you.
We appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Good evening, City Council members. My name is Mary Thompson. I live at 1 Thunder Road, that's Ward 4. I am also the Vice President of the Board of Trustees of the Dyer Library Saco Museum. I'd like to thank the City Council for their historic support of Dyer Library and Saco Museum. Our Mayor, Jody McPhail, our City Manager, John Bohenko, and of course, our liaison, Tricia Hewitt, have been very sound voices on the Board of Trustees, and we appreciate your contributions. Today, I would like to talk to you about the importance of the library and the museum to our community. Saco is a very diverse community now, and we offer very vibrant programs that we engage young families, tweens, teens, adults, and seniors alike. You heard a lot of that presentation here this evening. Under our dynamic new leadership of our Executive Director, Sophie Smith, our institutions have been revitalized into centers of creativity and learning and cultural connection. Our library and museum are not just places to visit, though. They're places where people gather and ideas grow, and our community thrives. So with continued funding support, we can build on this exciting momentum to expand access to even more residents and ensure that Dyer Library and Saco Museum remain powerful forces for inspiration and education and unity in Saco's future. Thank you, council members, for your thoughtful consideration to the budget presentation that Sophie will give shortly, and your continued support for our essential community institutions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Lindsay Pylon. My engagement with the Dyer Library and the Saco Museum has been long and varied, including being on the board and volunteering at the museum. I think there are a lot of people who really don't realize that the library and the museum are under the same umbrella, and we share any funding that we get, for which we are eternally grateful. We have built, I think our relationship with the city is growing and strengthening, and we both strive, both sides of that partnership strive for providing really important resources for our community. It's been an exciting year for us with Sophie's new leadership, and I want you to have a vision here. Sophie has been juggling, so picture that, and at the same time drinking from the fire hose, because she has handled many, many projects that have needed attention for a long time, and really has addressed needs that we didn't even know that we had. Right now, we're facing challenges, as any nonprofit is. There have been severe cuts in the institutes for museum and library services on the federal level, and it already has impacted us. It may be interrupting our transition to a really important interlibrary loan program, and there could be, well, the Maine State Library has seen huge impacts. So that being the case, we doubly appreciate the support that we get from the committee, from the city. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Chris Talbot from 6 Chelsea Circle, Ward 3, Saco. And I'm here tonight in support of Saco Main Street and their request for support through the city's budget process for the upcoming fiscal year. Saco Main Street has been a great value to our downtown businesses, Saco residents, and city as a whole. Over the past 23 years, we have hosted events that have become synonymous with the downtown Saco. The Art Festival, the Pumpkin Harvest Festival, Festival of Lights Parade, and several others. And the events that we're hosting continue to grow each year. Now, we have actively been promoting downtown businesses with our activities as well as our social media postings. And we could not do this without the generous support of the city, what the city has been able to provide for us so far. And we hope that we'll be able to continue. Over the past year, we've grown, employing 2 full-time professionals and contracting with Saco professionals for bookkeeping and HR support. As our operations have grown, so has our operation budget. I don't want to take away from Angela Presby's presentation, but I expect you'll be pleased with our progress. Our progress in expanding on our fundraising efforts. We've been able to secure several grants that have funneled money into projects for our city. And I'm hoping that you'll get a chance to hear more about those projects. Saco Main Street is fortunate to have a strong relationship with several different city departments and organizations, and we could not be happier to partner with the city to coordinate events and activities. We are honored to be considered as partners in the comprehensive plans for multiple departments. And we share a goal of supporting businesses in the downtown area, making Saco a great place to live and work. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello. Sorry, I have to take these off because I'm new to bifocals. Good evening, Mayor McPhail, City Administrator Vahenko, and council members. My name is Melissa Milam, and I'm honored to stand before you tonight wearing several hats. As board president of Saco Main Street, a local waitress right here at the Golden Rooster, and a real estate agent right here in our beautiful city of Saco. Every day, whether I'm serving at a local restaurant or helping families find their new homes, I hear a consistent message. People are drawn to Saco because of its heart, and that heart is our thriving downtown. Downtown Saco isn't just a collection of streets and storefronts. It's where our community comes to life. Through the work of Saco Main Street, we have seen tremendous growth in revitalization downtown. Our signature events, from the Arts Festival to the Pumpkin Harvest Festival to the Holiday Festival and the Parade of Lights, have not only energized our downtown, but have become beloved traditions that bring residents and visitors together year after year. These celebrations fill our sidewalks, shops, and restaurants with life and laughter, creating a strong sense of place and pride. As a real estate agent, I can tell you when prospective buyers talk about moving to Saco, they light up when they hear about our vibrant downtown. They want to live somewhere with a lively Main Street, small businesses that know your name, and events where families, neighbors, and friends gather to make memories. Thanks to Saco Main Street's efforts, that's exactly what we offer. Our downtown isn't just growing, it's thriving. New businesses are opening, historic buildings are being lovingly restored, and more people than ever are choosing to invest their time, talents, and futures here. We've built strong partnerships between local businesses, community organizations, and city leadership, and the results are visible every day in the vibrancy of our streets, the success of our merchants, and the spirit of our events. Of course, Saco's rich history is interwoven into everything we do. From our preserved architecture to our cultural heritage, downtown is a thriving reminder of our proud past and a bold statement about our bright future. Tonight, I want to thank you, not just for your support of Saco Main Street, but for your belief in the power of a strong downtown to shape a strong community. Together, we are turning downtown Saco into more than just a destination. We are making it the heart of Saco's next chapter. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Dick Hilton with Age Friendly Saco, and I just want to point out, if you see the blue coats up here, the average age is probably 85, but they don't look it because of all the hugs and the thank yous that they get from their clients. Thank you. And really, we haven't mentioned about how much money we save for people. Just if we put up grab bars for somebody, or hang curtains, or help them with Medicare, or help them with Social Security, whatever we do for them, it's thousands of dollars. It's not just a dollar, it's thousands of dollars. And I see that every time we're out there. So thank these 85-year-olds, would you?
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Cheryl Gray. I live at 15 Washington Ave in Saco, and I am here with two hats. I got my Saco Main Street hat. I am the secretary of the board of directors on Saco Main Street, and I also am here representing the Dyer Library. I work in the children's room. So it's so fantastic what we do with our seniors here in Maine, in Saco and everything. There's a whole other underrepresented group that doesn't get to come up and speak, and that's our kids. And the kids are valued, and they get so much out of the library and out of Saco Main Street. With all these crazy times going on right now, kids can feel the tension from their parents, and they understand the money insecurities and all the things going on. And to have the support of the library, all of our programs are free. We have so many families that come in, their children, they come into our baby time, and they come back and visit Brooke and I in the library and say, remember me, I'm now a freshman. And they're still using the library, and they're still using our resources. And we go and we represent, and we go to Saco Main Street, we see all the kids enjoying the parade, the Pride Festival, the Harvest Fest, and everything. So your continued support is so important. I have a 2-year-old granddaughter, and they've decided to live in Saco, which they're going to be 6th generation to go to Thornton, which I'm pretty impressed by. And so we like to stay here, so we need to do what we can do and keep supporting the things that are making Saco great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, good evening. I'm Inga Brown. I live at 161 Simpson Road in Ward 1. I'm here as well to give my support to the Dyer Library and Saco Museum. I am always amazed when I go to the museum and the library that it really represents a clean, well-lighted place, to quote Ernest Hemingway. I am amazed how the library is a safe space for everyone. We know there is an epidemic of loneliness in our society. We know it affects teenagers. We know it can affect children. And we know that it affects our elderly. And when I visit the library, I am so heartened by the services, by the staff, by the programming, and what our library really represents. Whenever I travel around Maine with my family, they roll their eyes at me. I want to visit local libraries. And I say, we just need to stop in for 10 minutes. And I know in doing that, every library has a special feel and a special personality. And the Dyer Library and Saco Museum impresses me with their location. Many communities do not have a library and museum right directly on the main street that are walkable. It is a gem, and I'm urging you to support the library and museum at the highest possible level. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Caroline Ellis. I live at 15 Sweet Street in Ward 1. In 2024, I became Saco Main Street's second full-time employee. I have loved every second of it. Saco Main Street and our downtown touches every part of my family's life. We've lived in Saco for the last 6 years, and from everything from our weekend walks downtown to Swell and Fika from our house to my son's daycare, where my husband goes to get his hair cut, my office in Pepperell Square, my dog's groomer at Wagon Wash, taking a walk on the river walk, using our kayaks out at the boat launch. Our downtown is a thriving part of what we do and who we are every single day. And this community, the people in it, it's a diverse and beautiful collection, and it's what makes Saco great. Saco Main Street, we are thankful for the support and the continued partnership from the council and the city, and we're just very thankful for your help in making everyday memories for everyone here in Saco.
Thank you. Okay, do we have anyone else wishing to speak? Okay, not seeing anyone being recognized. Moving on to item 7, that is the approval of the minutes, and that is for April 14th, 2025. Is there a motion?
So moved to approve.
Motion made by Councilor Hatch. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Counselor Edwards. Any discussion or comments on the minutes? Okay, not seeing any. Roll call vote. Counselor Edwards?
Yes.
Counselor Parks?
Abstain.
Counselor Gunn?
Yes.
Counselor Berman?
Yes.
Counselor Hatch?
Yes.
Counselor Hewitt?
Yes.
And Counselor Johnston?
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0 with one abstention. Okay, moving on to item 8. That is the consent items for this evening, and there is one item, and that is the massage therapist license application for Jean Severo. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion made by Counselor Johnston. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Counselor Hatch. Any discussion or comments on the consent item? Okay, roll call vote. Counselor Edwards?
Yes.
Counselor Parks?
Yes.
Counselor Gunn?
Yes.
Counselor Berman?
Yes.
Counselor Hatch?
Yes.
Counselor Hewitt?
Yes.
Counselor Johnston?
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0. Okay, that now takes us to item 9, and that is the new business this evening. And we do have 4 presentations for our supported entities and 4 presentations to finish up our departmental budgets. So first on the item this evening, we do have age-friendly Saco.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, City Councilors, City Administrator Bahenko. Thank you for this opportunity to talk to you about our budget request for this coming year. We're going to start off a little bit differently. We're going to go back in time to see how Age Friendly first started. I promise you it's only a 2-minute video. It does involve children, but it gives us some perspective of how far we've come and the kind of ripples that are made by starting a process. So I'm very fortunate to have my people behind the curtains that help me with this.
It definitely helps to have this, and it will definitely be able to include more people like me feeling the access to beach.
Amazing to see a young woman that has for years sent her campers off to the beach and had to stay behind because she couldn't access the beach.
This is really nice to give this to her so she can experience the beach.
Livable communities must include safe and accessible public spaces. Here in Saco, Maine, that includes the beach. Because of these mats.
The mats we're standing on are portable, non-slip, roll-up beach mats that are tear-resistant and durable and will serve our needs for years to come. None of this would have been possible without AARP's help.
This is really our primary access way, and it promotes not only the use of people using walkers and wheelchairs, but it also enhances the ability of people who are walking, perhaps with a cane, to be able to get to the beach.
With a small town appeal and natural beauty, Saco was awarded an AARP Community Challenge Grant because of its leadership in being an age-friendly community.
Maine leads the nation in the rate of participation in the age-friendly network. 20% of the communities who are members of this nationwide network are right here in Maine, and Saco leads Maine.
Saco really does have everything one would need to enjoy life here in Maine. We have a historic downtown, we have great education, we have the ocean, we have the river, and it's just a phenomenal place to live. And that is why we call ourselves Friendly by Nature.
The challenge grant also had a domino effect.
We decided to do a district grant ourselves, which allowed us to purchase a beach wheelchair and a beach walker.
The small investment of money is going to reap tremendous rewards for the community for years to come by allowing access for all that want to come and enjoy the beach.
We're honored to be selected to get the grant, and we will put it to good use, I can guarantee you that.
1, 2, 3.
Beach!
Great. Thank you to our communications department for helping with that.
Sometimes I think we lose some of our institutional knowledge, with the change in leadership, and I always think it's good to try and go back and understand how we started. So this first slide speaks to how incoming Mayor Michaud in 2017 had a mayoral proclamation to make Saco an age-friendly community. He started with a steering committee, and then in 2019, we decided to become a 501c3, purely for the ease of applying for grants so that we didn't have to use a fiscal sponsor. Then in 2019, we were also asked by Mayor Doyle to come up with a volunteer medical transportation program. So we sought funding, we got grant funding, and we were able to start that program at that time. Next slide, please. I just wanted to quickly point out a few statistics. The population of Saco is just over 20,000 people. This is the latest census data. Residents age 55 and over account for almost 33% of our population. 18% of our population is over the age of 65, and 30% of Saco households have at least one member who is 65 or older. Next slide, please. This process was started, the entire age-friendly process was started by the World Health Organization in recognition of our aging demographic. It started the whole movement. According to AARP, approximately 11,200 Americans turn 65 each day as the baby boomer generation continues to reach that milestone. I think, as we all know, it is not Florida, but it is Maine that is the oldest state in the nation. Next slide, please. So this is kind of a busy slide, but it's a year in review. It's a quick snapshot of our year. We continued with an expansion of our medical rides program. We have many of our drivers here tonight. We have 24 dedicated volunteers providing rides. They use their own vehicles at their own expense to give our residents rides to medical appointments. Unlike other programs, our volunteers stay right with our residents. The driver's there waiting for them, so our residents don't need to worry that they'll be abandoned at the end of their appointment. We also continued expansion of our second ride service, our micro transit program, and have provided over 800 rides in 2024. Our residents can use this service to access essential services like going to the bank, food shopping, library, our community center. In your packet, you have a list of all the places our bus service provided rides to this past year. We continue to collaborate with Saco Parks and Rec Seniority Program by providing lunch and learn sessions on different topics, as well as preparing meals on a regular basis for Saco Parks and Rec programming. We offer monthly meals through the Elks Club. That remains very popular. We serve close to 100 people monthly. We worked with the City of Saco's Planning Department to develop a brochure on universal design standards to consider developers to consider implementing universal design features in new construction. We were asked by the University of Maine Center on Aging to present a statewide program on how a simple Echo Dot can function as a virtual personal assistant and help our residents stay in their homes more safely. We're able to help 18 communities across the state participate in this program, offered, as you heard before, by our technology volunteers. As a result of grant funding, we're able to develop a crockpot program in which we provided participants with a crockpot and programming on how to access nutritional meals at home. We provided this program most recently to our veteran community in transitional housing at the Kimball Health Center. In addition, we're also able to apply for a grant that resulted in the creation of our Community Connector role. You heard Joe speak about that. We are very, very fortunate to have Joe as part of our team, and I'm very happy to say that we have been approved for an additional year of funding from the University of Maine for Joe to stay with us for another year. That particular grant funding, the micro grant from the University of Maine, as you heard Joe speak about, allowed us to create our emergency preparedness program in which we able to create 100 emergency go bags for our residents to take home with them and learn what to do in the event of an emergency. Next slide, please. So I think, as you can see from these pictures and from the statistics, that Age-Friendly Saco has continued to grow and expand in programs this past year. We provided 1,313 medical rides, 885 shuttle rides, 113 handy helper services. If you look at the picture of the woman standing next to her porch, those are our folks that were able to put up those handrails for her. 336 commodity boxes were delivered by our volunteers. 994 community meals were prepared and enjoyed by our residents. 104 food box deliveries were made from the Saco Food Pantry. They were provided by our volunteers. The deliveries were made by our volunteers to any Saco resident requesting a delivery. We are the only service in Saco that provides deliveries of food from the Saco Food Pantry. We, on a quarterly basis, distribute 1,670 newsletters, which are sent out both digitally as well as by mail to those people that are not digitally connected. We have our chat adaptive bike program, which is very popular. It's going to be starting up again. People are clamoring for it already. 42 rides last year, and as we said, 100 emergency go bags. I'm going to also note that we do all of these services and programs without any administrative support. We do all of our own programming, scheduling, develop mailings by the volunteers sitting behind you. We also, as you know, have a dedicated volunteer bookkeeper and a database coordinator. Next slide, please. I'm just going to briefly go over the grants that we received. We were able to receive over $74,000 in grant funding this year, which again allowed us to expand our programming. Through our chef grant provided by Hannaford, we were able to purchase durable equipment for our monthly luncheons. We applied for and received the $20,000 grant for our community connector role that allowed us to develop stronger relationships. We received a grant from the Maine Community Foundation to support our 2 transportation programs. The AARP mini grant allowed us to work with experts from the Universal Design Institute to create and produce in conjunction with the City of Saco's Planning Department our new brochure to promote the implementation of universal design features in new construction. A grant from University of New England's Geriatric Workforce Enhancement Program allowed us to provide $5,000 worth of Echo Dots, smart plugs, and smart bulbs to our residents. The next slide brings us to our budget request this year. So we are asking for support to fund 80% of a director position for Age-Friendly Saco, with the understanding that Age-Friendly Saco would seek the additional 20% of funding through grant funding. We're asking for continuing support for our 2 transportation programs, as well as our general support and support for our chat program. This brings up our one other request for funding, and that is to support the rental of space for Age-Friendly Saco. Since we have started, though we are very fortunate to have a small office in the community center, we have far outgrown that space. And our next goal is to start focusing on the need for a community center space for our older residents. As many of you are aware, the only currently dedicated space for our older residents in the city of Saco is limited to a windowless room on the 2nd floor of the community center. When lunch and learn sessions are held, it is extremely limited number of participants given the space constraints. With the additional request to support leasing space, this brings our budget request to $162,457. Next slide, please. So I'd like to say that we are low cost but high value. This past year, our volunteers contributed over 8,000 hours of their time. Our volunteer hours have grown year to year as we have expanded our programming, particularly our food and transportation programs. If we translated these donated hours into dollars, it would be approximately $260,000 of worth to the city. This would also translate into 4 full-time equivalents. Next slide, please. This looks like a busy slide, but I'm going to step you through. So this speaks to the space. Our plans going forward are to find a way to bring our services and programs we deliver together. The top left corner, you will see that that's our wellness fair that we actually hold every year at Thornton Academy. We are extremely grateful to Thornton Academy. They are a very generous and wonderful partner, and they're willing to host events for us. The second picture speaks to the chat program. Our chat program is run out of a storage unit on School Street. We purchased a shed to store the chat and many items as well for Age-Friendly Saco. When you see the Age-Friendly Saco volunteer sign, that represents that we have no space to park our van for our age-friendly program. So we're very thankful to Most Holy Trinity Church on Main Street in Saco, who allows us a parking space in their parking lot. The picture on the bottom on the left is my dining room. And my husband said I shouldn't be showing that picture. It doesn't show that I'm doing well and keeping up. But this is because we have no storage. All of the stuff that we had for our go bags came to my home. And so we needed to then put the bags together. And, you know, we had lots of storage issues relative to all the stuff that we had. The middle picture speaks to demonstrating how hard our volunteers work for our monthly meals, transporting items back and forth from their homes and garages to the Elks Club. The picture of Lucy Hatch shows her standing in front of a storage unit, which we were able to purchase with our chef funds, which the Elks Club has graciously allowed us to leave there for storage. So I promise this is our last slide. So this is our vision. Our vision is to allow for a new paid administrative position to oversee day-to-day operations of this very robust program. We have a vision to find a place to bring our services and programming together in one space. There is talk about the young school as a possibility that is 5 to 10 years away, and we need to find ways in order for us to continue, grow, and expand, and also we want to start generating revenue. Our dream is to have a commercial kitchen, dining area, meeting rooms, and offices in one space. We have had discussions about creating a one-stop shopping type of center in which residents can come to one place to seek assistance, get help with applications, socialize, perhaps attend an exercise or balance class, have learning opportunities, and continue to stay engaged in their community. We have been investigating programs around the state, similar to what we hope to create here, and we will be working to create a revenue stream to make age-friendly less dependent on public funds going forward. In summary, please consider supporting our budget request for this coming fiscal year. Age-friendly Saco is working diligently to make Saco a more livable community for all and to truly make Saco a community for a lifetime. Thank you.
Thank you, Jean. Jean, you want to hold up? Any questions or comments for Director Saunders? Councilor Edwards?
Yes, I'm the liaison to Age-Friendly Saco, and so I might be a little biased, but I fully support the budget request, and I do agree with Jean that Saco has a bargain on their hands based on the number of volunteers and the time spent. They do need an ongoing executive director. And so I would ask the council to very much consider the request. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Edwards. Anyone else? Councilor Hatch?
Thank you, Mayor McPhail. Doug, I'm married to one of the K5, so I have a very deep bias. So
you might have to abstain.
Yeah. This is a pivotal moment, I think, for Age-Friendly, and I wish Ron was here to see what happened, because you and I were there when we started this, and I'm not even sure I could have envisioned what's happened here, but it's just an amazing transformation. And I think Ron, in his wisdom in terms of how politics worked and city council worked, I believe he advised us to kind of do this thing on the side, get some traction. But I think eventually he recognized that this process needed to be a little bit closer entwined to what we do here as a city. I think we need to push that forward. I think the independence of a 501c3 is extremely valuable, so I would not suggest that change. But we need to recognize, as Doug has said, the value that we get from all the hard work that goes on here. I think we miss a benefit. You talked about all of the folks in the community, justifiably so, that benefit. But I see one of the other benefits, and I see it through my wife, in that you have created an opportunity for a lot of compassionate, loving people who love Saco, and there's a bunch of them, to have a cause to get together and do really good things. So I don't think you can put a price tag on that. So I am wholeheartedly in support of your budget request as a single member of this council. I do have a question, if I could pose it to you. I'm curious as to how you envision this position to be managed. Is it going to be, I understand that you have a contract relationship for your transportation coordinator, an independent contractor. Are you envisioning a similar arrangement with an individual, or are you going to actually start to create a payroll?
Probably a payroll.
Okay.
We'd need to get to that point.
I think you're right. So I think that's a good idea. And of course, with payroll comes costs. You got FICA, you got unemployment, you got fringe benefits, you got things. So I want to make sure that as this thing moves forward, that we understand that the funding that's needed. And then I just wanted to quiz you quickly, because I know what the answer is. It's probably yes. I'm assuming that you have a bead on the 20% grant component of this.
Well, I got 2,500 so far.
Okay. All right. Well, I know you well enough. You'll find the rest of it. Okay. I just wanted to make sure that those wheels were in motion. And obviously, the budget process ends next month, and monies are not available until July 1st. And I'm assuming you're going to have some sort of search process. Is that correct?
Yeah, all of our board officers are here tonight, so yes, we will be discussing this tomorrow night at our board meeting.
And you and I just went through this with B-Soup Transit. You know, it takes several months to find a candidate that you hone in on. So there's going to be a little bit of a delay here in terms of the happening. So I want to get clear in my head. And then one last question for you. You mentioned in the presentation seeking out of potential revenue generation sources.
Yes.
Can you toss through a couple of ideas at me?
We have some, but they're not ready to be discussed openly at present.
That's fair enough.
But it's following a model that exists in other parts of the state.
Yeah, I think that the business guy in me says that that's how you and organizations like what you've created get to a level of independent sustainability, is to evaluate opportunities to generate revenue. And I don't know what they are, but hopefully you can find a few and integrate that into the mix. So well done. Thank you.
Thank you. Can I just add one more thing I forgot to mention? In April, well, this month, we sent out a quick email to all of the people that have used our services and programs and asked them to tell us what a difference Age Friendly made in their lives. Within 24 hours, we got the 7 pages that you have in front of you. And some of them are very compelling stories, so I would really encourage you all to take a look at what these people wrote. They couldn't be here tonight, all of them, and so they wanted to share their experience.
Thank you. Anyone else? Councilor Berman, and then Councilor Hewitt.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor, and thank you, Director Saunders. A very impressive showing by your volunteers. I'm always impressed by all the work all of you do, and a great summary of the vital role that you play in our community. So thanks to you all. And thank you too, Gene. I know you've been working, we heard 40 to 60 hours a week for years. I think you might have been one of the first constituents I met with when I first joined council, and you're in my email box regularly ever since, so I know your tireless advocacy also. It's been a lot of years of unpaid labor for you and the vital role that you all play. And you and I have also discussed, I think, something that Councilor Hatz just mentioned, in all of the work that you do for the community. You together have also built your own community of people, providing an opportunity for gathering and community and service, which I think should be highlighted. I guess my question maybe is also following up on Councilor Hatch a little bit, and your orange, I don't know, third of the circle there, and this self-sustaining model, you're asking today for 80% of a director position, and you're going to raise the other portion. Do you anticipate over time that model will persist? Is the goal to move that position more towards grant funding or other revenue sources? This is the first time we're hearing this request. What's your vision for the long-term relationship between the city?
So based on the other
Saco?
models that we've seen, I would expect that we would be far less dependent on coming to the city and asking for funding for an executive director position. But of course, that's a few years down the line. It won't be overnight. But based on the experience of other places, I spoke to a person in Oregon a couple weeks ago, and it's a similar kind of setup and program, and it took them about 3 years before they started. But they now support 8 FTEs.
Amazing.
Far smaller community than the city of Saco as well.
Aspirational. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, anyone else? Councilor Hewitt?
I just want to thank Jean Saunders for her vision, her leadership, and her persistence with this organization. And I also want to thank the generosity of all these volunteers. You guys are remarkable.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Councilor Gunn?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Jean, this is a wonderful presentation as usual. And I want to thank you because I know I was liaison last year. The amount of information that you have provided in terms of funding sources, I think is not, without casting aspersions on anybody else, I think is the gold standard in terms of coming to the council and asking for a big ask, but at the same time you can back it up with the receipts, with the fact that you've put in the effort and your team has put in the effort to raise the money to create this something that's so, for the most part, self-sustaining. And I've often said that we get best bang for your buck we can possibly get. And as a solid investment for the city of Saco going forward. And I just want to put that out there because I expect it to be the case, but as the future goes and you will take a step back and there'll be a new executive director here, that the expectation will be certainly from I think from this side of the dais, that if there are increases in the future, because we are in uncharted territory with federal and state funding. And if we do need more funding from your end in the future, we certainly have this expectation for the transparency that you have been more than generous in providing to us. And we appreciate that because obviously as the keepers of the taxpayers' dollar, though, we want to make sure we are doing the diligence that we are doing to make sure that everything's spent right. But the fact that you've provided that willingly, I think is a credit to your organization. And fiscally, not putting that aside, I want to thank you, obviously, because if this thing goes right, this might be the last time you're in front of us to actually ask us for money.
You bet.
She's done a wonderful job at doing that, by the way. So hopefully everything does go right, and I just want to, I'm sure we'll see you in the front of us beforehand, though, but taking advantage of this audience here, I want to thank you for your years of dedication, turning this into an absolute gem. It is a jewel in the crown of this community, what you've done and what your team has done. But at the same time, you've been doing this without a paycheck, and that is damn good. And I want to thank you for that, and I want to thank your team for that, and all volunteers. You guys have done wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay. Thank you, Jean. Okay, next up we have Saco Main Street.
Good evening, everybody. Nice to see you again. My name is Angie Presby. I'm the Executive Director for Saco Main Street. First, I'd just like to take a moment to recognize our Board of Directors. Their leadership and passion have been essential to everything that we're about to share, and including our new full-time staff member, Caroline Ellis. She has been an absolute joy to have on board. This group of amazing people and their unwavering commitment to Saco is what drives our efforts forward, so I want to thank them all. One of our major achievements this year has been our success in securing outside funding. We were awarded 5 significant grants, helping us expand programs, grow events, and invest back into downtown. I'd like to point out that the Island Rose Foundation sent us $2,500 as a donor-advised grant, which means other funders in the grantor community suggested our organization, and Island Rose chose to support our work. Please make note of the amount that will be invested into downtown with these grants, $159,724. These grants have not only strengthened our capacity, but also affirmed the value others see in the work happening right here in Saco. I'd like to share with you a video preview of one grant project, Below the Falls, an interactive walking tour of the Saco River. Alex, could you show that video, please?
The Saco River watershed starts in the White Mountains of New Hampshire, winding its way to the Atlantic Ocean in Saco, Maine.
It's a vital wildlife habitat.
It's a source for drinking water.
It's a recreational destination, a power source,
a supply for breweries, and so much more.
With this river being so many things to so many people over so many miles, we want to celebrate the Saco River. This tour is designed to share its unique history and how parts of its past connect to today. And as much as I'd love to share all of our grants with you, that would add an additional 7 minutes. I tried, so we're not going to do it tonight. Happy to talk about it later. As of April 2025, we have submitted applications for a total of $112,000 in grants. This marks just one step in our ongoing mission to secure funding that aligns with our transformation strategies, which I'll share in just a few slides, and the city's comprehensive plan. A majority of our current requests are to secure 8 kayaks through Rent Fund to add as an option to finish out the Below the Falls interactive tour. Initial one-time fee is $35,000. Rent Fund maintains the kayaks, processes payments, and holds liability. We would receive funding from the rentals, and the money would go to send a student to an outdoor recreation or science camp. Another important piece of our story is how we've steadily diversified our funding over the last 4 years. We've moved from relying heavily on a few sources to building a broader, more sustainable financial base, combining grants, sponsorships, individual giving, and partnerships. This growth ensures that we're not just strong today, but positioned for long-term success. Saco Main Street was highlighted as supporters of these 8 initiatives from the comp plan. We recognized the opportunity early on and took active leadership role to move them forward. Through focused planning, collaboration with key partners, and consistent hands-on work, we've made excellent progress forward. Our commitment has helped maintain momentum, overcome challenges, and keep the vision on track for the benefit of the entire community. As we look ahead, I want to share our 4 key transformation strategies for the next 3 to 5 years. Being part of a nationally accredited Main Street means that we are held to multiple standards we have to report to on yearly. We're proud to say we're accredited once again for 2025 through Maine Downtown Center and Main Street America. First, we will enhance our focus on outdoor recreation. This entails not only creating more accessible spaces, but also promoting activities that engage our community and visitors alike while in downtown, such as the Below the Falls tour. We'll prioritize outdoor life. This strategy encompasses all initiatives that encourage people to enjoy the natural beauty of our surroundings, ultimately promoting a healthier, more active lifestyle. Picture a yoga class in Riverfront Park. Next, arts and culture will take center stage. We aim to enrich our downtown experience with vibrant art initiatives. Saco Main Street brought forth the need for a mural policy, which has since made its way through a few departments and commissions and is close to being completed. Together, we can beautify public spaces and foster community pride. And lastly, we'll continue to focus on being a business resource. We have several initiatives in place, including a downtown resource kit that includes a Main Street branded open flag if one is needed, as well as resources and contacts available. Next, we introduced the Morning Buzz on Main, a great networking opportunity for local entrepreneurs to connect over coffee. Additionally, we're addressing construction detours to ensure that our businesses remain up to date. For entrepreneurs looking for more resources, Heart of Biddeford and Saco Main Street created the website, BiddefordSacoBizHub.com, where you can access a wealth of information, including our podcast, Two Cities, One Main Street, that discusses business resource topics. We've created a downtown map, the first in over a decade. And don't forget about Saco Buck Saturday, which encourages spending locally. Last November, $4,700 of Saco Bucks were distributed to spend at participating businesses. It's one of our favorite events. We're here to help our business community thrive. Our 2024 events brought our community together in new and meaningful ways, from festivals to markets to special downtown celebrations. 17,000 people came to our downtown to shop, dine, explore, and enjoy all that Saco has to offer. A huge thank you goes to the City of Saco staff who helped us plan and make events fun and safe for our community. And I want to take a moment to express our gratitude to two people for the amazing work they do, usually behind the scenes. To Alex St. Cyr and Andrew Dickinson in the Communications Department, their dedication and talent shine through in the amazing photos they capture, not just at our events, but showcasing the beauty and vibrancy of our city as a whole. These are just a few of their images. These visuals help us tell our story and connect with our community, visitors, and families looking to relocate in a meaningful way. We recognize and appreciate having such an amazing city communications department, not only at our events, but more importantly for showcasing Saco in such a beautiful light. In a digital world, photos, drone shots, and strong social media presence are vital for engagement. So I want to thank them both for knocking it out of the park for Saco. I want to celebrate something truly exciting happening in our community. We have 12 businesses that have joined the Saco Main Street District in the last year. This isn't just a number, it's a significant milestone for us all. Each new business brings fresh energy, new jobs, and expanded offerings that enhance the downtown experience for both residents and visitors. This growth signals that entrepreneurs see potential here and believe in the future of downtown Saco. And we have, well, we all have great volunteers, but theirs are tired, so they went home. So our volunteers are just the best. From our board members to community members to bank employees and more, I want to thank them all. Volunteers make a significant impact to our community. You saw the numbers that H. Friendly just shared with us. We had 134 volunteers, which is an impressive 28% increase over last year. Saco Main Street volunteers logged a remarkable 2,055 hours. That's a 72% increase over 2023. So just think about all the projects and initiatives those hours represent. This equates to $62,780.05, that's important, of volunteer time, and that was donated to Saco Main Street. That's an astonishing 95% increase over last year, saving our organization from paying out for those services done. I want to give a special shout out to our 6 board members who each contributed over 100 hours. Beth Gumry, Tori Gorman, Melissa Milam, Chris Talbot, Jim Swain, and Wendy Weiler. Your commitment is truly inspiring. And so thinking about our environment and the city tagline, friendly by nature, board member Cheryl Gray, and I hope I'm not stealing any of Sophie's thunder because we're super proud of her, now known as Eco Cheryl and recognized by Eco Maine, has been spreading awareness about plastic bag recycling and has diverted literal tons of plastic out of landfills from the community. It's clear Saco cares about the environment, and we believe we can build on that by fostering a culture of sustainability through outdoor recreation, outdoor life, and arts and culture. Next, our Banner to Bags project will divert hundreds of pounds of old banners from landfills. This will turn what would have been waste into useful, reusable bags for our community. And additionally, we're enhancing Riverfront Park to preserve the Saco River. By taking action to protect our natural resources, we're ensuring that future generations can enjoy the beauty of our river. So as we wrap up, let's reflect on the significant impact of Saco Main Street. First, we boost local business revenue. Our community events, marketing campaigns, and beautification efforts drive foot traffic to downtown businesses. This not only increases visibility, but also enhances customer engagement and sales. Next, we leverage volunteer and grant dollars. This year, Saco Main Street has brought in thousands of dollars in grant funding and in-kind volunteer hours. This means we're maximizing our impact without solely relying on city resources. And lastly, we attract investment and enhance property values. Through our revitalization projects and placemaking efforts, we make downtown more appealing to investors, developers, and entrepreneurs. Just look at the 12 businesses that have recently joined us. This contributes to long-term economic growth and increases property values, benefiting all of us. So I want to thank you for your attention and support, and let's continue to work together to create a thriving downtown Saco.
Great. Thank you, Angie.
Of course.
Any questions or comments for Director Presby? Councilor Edwards.
Again, disclosure, I am a liaison to Saco Main Street. I am very happy to be that person. I view Saco Main Street as a catalyst. The benefits that we receive from this group are too numerous to even have on a slide deck. And it has to give encouragement to local businesses as well as many of the citizens here in Saco. So I would encourage the council to thoughtfully consider their budget request.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Anyone else? Councilor Berman?
Yeah, thank you, Director Presby. I remember a couple years ago when you were making your budget presentation, you got really clear guidance from council to try and diversify your funding sources. And so it's really just gratifying to come up and see the progress you guys have made on that and your real efforts in that domain. And I really appreciated your kind of three-part strategic vision too, showing that you really thought through the role you play in the community and really focusing your efforts on a couple of key areas that all look really exciting. So just really kudos for all that work. I know it's been a bit of a transformation of your organization, and just really good to see. I do kind of have a question. I'm wondering if you can go back a couple slides to me with a pie chart where you're kind of showing us that diversity of funding sources. Yeah, so this is a really impressive figure, and I noticed that the 2025 is projected. How much of that individual and grant funding is already acquired, and how much of it is kind of pending? And what do you think the likelihood of at the end of 2025, the pie chart still kind of looks like that?
Well, I've found the longer I'm in nonprofit work that nonprofit numbers can be imaginary. It all depends on who says yes to our project. This is a majority for the kayaks, as I said. We've asked a lot of different organizations to help support that. To your point, Councilor Berman, when we do ask for funding, even if they're big numbers, like the $113,000 core grant, we only get 10,000 of that. And so 103,000 is going back into the city. So when we ask for grant funding, they only allow a certain amount. So that pie chart, you can think of that as money we're putting back into Saco, more or less, once we're able to secure those.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, anyone else? Councilor Hewitt?
Quick question, and to follow up on Ms. Councilor Berman's, when you say like the pie chart for projected 2025, do you have an estimate of how much would be the city if you gave it percentages?
For the cities?
Yeah.
Well, Well, no, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Just
didn't
asking.
put the percentage, and I should have.
Okay.
Sorry.
But I do want to compliment you through the years. Our family has enjoyed your programs many, many times over. One more question, not to put you on the spot.
No,
but
go for it.
See, in the budget, we have Saco Biddeford Chamber and Saco Main Street. Can you explain to us what the differences are?
Sure. So the chamber is membership-based only, so they are being paid to be a member, and then they get benefits for a networking event or sharing about ribbon cuttings and so forth, and that is citywide. And so Main Street has a very specific district that's included for us, which is the downtown business density district. And then we focus on everything from the ground up. So we're looking at green spaces, we're looking at the buildings, we're looking at the people inside the buildings, we're looking at bringing businesses in. So we're kind of in the, like, we're really cool, you should come to our downtown. And I think maybe the chamber is, hey, you're here, and now we're here to support you. And that might not be completely accurate, but we're ground up. We want to help with the entire downtown.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Councilor Hewitt, just to extend on that a little bit, Director Presley, yeah, pretty much right. Think of the chamber as they are more business connection.
Mm-hmm.
They are solely there to really support the businesses that sign on with them as members, whereas Saco Main Street and our downtown organizations are more community and business, but as a whole. And it's not a membership base. They're just there to, help do good things for the community, for our downtown. But yeah, the chamber is much more business focused.
Thank you.
Okay, anyone else? Councilor Hatch.
Thank you, Mayor. Angie, good job.
Thank you.
We, echoing Councilor Berman's comments about hoping to see a shift over to grant funding. It seems to be occurring. I just wanted to point out that, and you actually articulated it, that the grant funding that you're looking for is earmarked, so there's a small portion of that that actually benefits your operations. Yeah. And much like the discussion with Age Friendly, sustainability really, long-term sustainability is really going to hinge on finding revenue sources that can fund operations. Yeah. Okay,
and that's the hard part.
It is, yeah. I agree with you 100%. So I'd only suggest that, in the long-term scheme of things, you take your board and try to figure out how we can get you there. I do see a significant, I'm looking at your budget and for 2025, and I see a fairly significant increase in dependence on the Saco portion's the same, so there's nothing different there, but it looks like you're expecting a fairly sizable increase to federal government support, got $113,000, and I'm just worried a little bit about what's happening at the federal government level. Your P&L shows that you provided us shows I believe a net loss of almost 26,000, and I'm a cash flow guy.
I knew you'd be the one to ask this question.
Yeah, cash is king, and so I do a little manipulation. I noticed you got an in-kind donation in there, which I'm assuming was not cash. In-kind usually means somebody gave you some services for free?
Yep.
Okay, I don't need to know what they were. So it extrapolates out that loss a little further, and so my only point is that, and I don't know, I don't have enough information to know what happened to your cash balance year over year, but to me that would be a sign that you might want to stop and try to figure out how to get that under control if you can, because if you can't, it'll be a cash flow challenge for you. And I don't have enough information here, and I don't need it, but just a word of caution to you. I hope that you can address that as best you can. The only thought in my mind is and I know there's limitations, but the fees you charge and the sponsorships and
Yeah.
trying to work on those to do what you can to maximize.
Yeah.
But I do appreciate the fact that you have clearly shifted gears here, so I would encourage you to keep doing that and hopefully find some ways to generate some revenue streams that you can use for operational expenses.
Yeah. So that loss, we had a balance in the bank that we felt was better used to create some impact than to hold on to it. And as our program grew, we had expenses increase. We used the money that was sitting in the bank to hire another full-time employee so that we could deliver more services to the area.
All right.
And we all just got back from our Main Street conference, and we're all really pumped to initiate some new fundraising activities for the organization. I think that's another thing with nonprofits. Sometimes you feel like you can't do things just for yourself.
Yeah.
But we do have to kind of be a little selfish.
Yeah, it's a challenge.
Sorry, community.
Yeah, no, you do. You
Yeah.
You absolutely do.
Because we're definitely learning.
It's the sustainability of the organization. So, so do what you can. Good. Thank you.
Thank you.
And this is a challenging year with the construction, having to move two of our biggest festivals off of Main Street.
Yeah, with 1 month.
With it, right. Yep, yep. So we all support that effort, and
thank you.
I know you guys are working on getting the best place.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
It is. Okay, anyone else? All right, thank you. All right, and next up we have the Saco Museum and the Dyer Library. Welcome, Director Smith, to your first presentation.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mayor McPhail, councilors, and city administrator. My first presentation was, in fact, like a month into my job last time around. So I did one, but I hope you don't count it as my first. This one is my official first go at all of this, and I really appreciate it. It's been a wonderful year getting to know the city and all of the resources that it has, all the people that are so dedicated to it, and all of the ways that I have found to connect between, city departments with the other nonprofits in the area and beyond. It's just truly been incredible. To start with, I wanted to give you some numbers. I like numbers. In case you didn't know, our library houses about 60,000 items in there. That ranges everything from your classic novels to DVDs to memory kits and video games and telescopes, everything in between. And we're always adding to, well, always trading out. We only have so much space with what we might have in that space. Our museum holds another 15,000 items, which range from the items on exhibit to things that we bring to teach about in classrooms, to things that are on repair or on loan to other institutions. Our 60,000 plus books circulated in our community 115,000 times over the course of last year. Not all of those were physical items that circulated. Some of that, about 8,000 or so, were digital resources that were borrowed from our cloud library, digital ebooks and audiobooks services that a lot of folks use, especially those who find it challenging to get into the library every day. We saw 120,000 visitors between the library and the museum come through our doors. And we offered over 800 programs, again, to all ages, from the babies who Cheryl sings to and plays with every Thursday to supporting the emergency preparedness programs that Age Friendly Saco put together. Through those programs, we served 19,000 people, again, of all ages. I wanted to point this out just because sometimes you don't see those numbers right in front of you, and I think it's really important to recognize just how many places we're touching this community. For some context, this is how our organization is structured. We have 11 full-time staff and 9 part-time staff that are sort of branched off in 2 different directions. We have a museum staff that focuses primarily on our museum operations, staff that focuses primarily on the library side of things, and then a few of us in the middle who kind of do both, who sort of oversee the umbrella of it, sort of supporting the bookkeeping, the administration, the facilities, et cetera. While we have modified some positions over the past year, and we've done some reorganization, we are not asking for any new positions in this coming fiscal year. There's been some adjustments, and there have been some additional full-time positions made, but those have been made at the expense of Dyer Library Saco Museum's endowment rather than asked from the city. Some of the accomplishments that we had in the past year have been hard to take pictures of. I also was going to have a very messy picture that my husband said I shouldn't put in the slide, and so I listened to him. One of the things that I'm so excited about is that we cleaned up our wires. I will show anyone who wants to see the horrible wire pictures. But long story short, an old building such as ours had not transitioned into the 21st century in a very elegant way. So after a lot of work and a lot of money, frankly, we've been able to upgrade our data network within the building to meet current standards, as well as provide a secure, safe Wi-Fi network for the dozens of people, hundreds of people who use that as a resource every day. We've also upgraded the spaces a lot. For those of you who haven't been in the library in the past year, you may not know this, but now when you walk in the front door, you're not slamming into a case of books. You're in fact greeted by a human being because we've made enough space in the lobby where you can actually come in and engage with the community rather than just running across a stack. It's a challenging building, there's no question. And finding space for everything has been a bit of a jigsaw puzzle. But what we've noticed in making this space is that we're seeing more people building relationships in our space. So the pair of chairs that you see in this first picture, people just sit down there and chat. Sometimes they know each other, sometimes they don't. It's right in the center of the library when you walk in. But what we're building is a community, and a community living room. That applies in the museum as well. At our last exhibit, we had a sort of communal knitting table. The exhibit had been about historical knitwear and patterns throughout New England history, but we invited people to stop and take a minute and work on a community project. We got such positive feedback from that for people who really were able to connect with our current exhibit about the history by actively doing something in the present in our space. We've also been inviting our community to give us feedback through participation in our library card design contest. We invited participants that were children, teens, and adults. We got dozens of submissions in each category, and then had hundreds of people vote on them over the course of the month, and have ended up with 3 new library card designs that should be premiering by the end of May. And as Angie mentioned, we've also had an incredibly odd success story in our plastic collection. What started off as sort of a side-hand comment between me and Cheryl at one point about recycling our plastic bags has turned into over 4,000 pounds of plastic collected by Cheryl in the past year. Originally, we started this because there was a program where you can get 1,000 pounds of plastic over the course of the year and you get a really nice bench. We thought, why not? We can do this. We thought it might take, close to a year. If we might have to squeak it through right at the end and really dig through our cabinets. But it took us just a couple months to get that first bench. And since then, we've been building on that and on that and on that. And it's inspired other groups in the community to both use our support to continue this project for themselves, but also just to do it themselves, in their own pieces of the city, which has been really great. Some of the goals that we have going into this coming fiscal year are to continue inviting community conversations and responding to what people are looking for from the public library and museum that we are able to offer. I love hearing ideas that people have and figuring out how to make them happen, and it's really just that spark. Someone needs to sort of drop a little seed and say, well, what if we did this? What if we did that? And we can explore it. It's been really exciting when people stop by and ask those questions. So I really want to make sure that we're asking that of everybody in our community. And I also want to make sure that we're making sure to be present in all parts of our community. We love being in downtown Saco. We love being walkable to our downtown businesses and all of the things, in Main Street. But we also recognize that not everybody can get to us as easily as we would like to. And, if it's story time and you've got to, put your kid in a car and then drive 20 minutes, that's a challenge. Your kid's going to fall asleep and it's not going to be any fun when you get there. So how do we have a story time a little further out? How do we offer an off-site programming that might allow people who don't want to do that drive-in to still receive the library programming benefit or the museum programming benefit by putting it in other sites throughout the community. So that's something we're really hoping to do. We also need to meet some current needs for our youth and tweens. Anybody who hangs out at the library after school from about 2 to 4 o'clock on the weekdays will notice that we have dozens and dozens of students from Burns who walk across the street every day and use the library facility as a place to test their independence. And I mean that in the best way possible. It is an opportunity for them to safely explore what it's like to be in the world on their own in a safe environment where they feel protected. Do they always behave? They do not. But they're learning, and they need that opportunity to grow. Part of the reason that they struggle to behave is the space we have to offer them is subpar. That age group is stuck in a hallway right next to our bathrooms, and that is not a great scenario for them. It's hard to do your best when you're in a less than optimal space. So we'd like to figure out how to reconfigure our space to better meet the youth in our community. Even after the schools move, this will be a continued need. We do not expect to see, as it is, we're bursting at the seams of our children's rooms for babies and toddlers, let alone encouraging tweens and teens to participate more actively in our programming. And finally, we are excited to join the Minerva Library Consortium at some point this summer, hopefully. This has involved barcoding and engaging with every one of those 60,000 items I mentioned earlier to make sure that they are ready for this transition. And every patron, in a database, is a lot of technical work on our end. The date is to be determined at this. It is contingent on work being done by the state, a state-funded program that is receiving some funding challenges right now, so I don't have a concrete date, but it will be happening, and we are ready for it when it's there. Here is a consolidated version of the budget request that you have in your budget book. At the end of the day, I'm asking for a very large increase. It's about 28%, and this is so we can do this once and not dance around it for the next 10 years, never quite getting where we need to go. I would like to catch up to where we need to be so that we can be on stable ground and that we can approach any further asks from a place of parity with our communities, with other libraries and institutions that are of similar ilk. The other piece of the puzzle that I want to share with you in this point is that the Dyer Library Association, through its endowment and through fundraising, is also contributing, is increasing their contributions by 47%. We are really looking to up our game and make sure we're putting enough skin in there that we're matching the ask that we're asking from the city. We have the capacity to draw a certain amount from investments. We have the capacity to do fundraising. And we really want to make sure that we are utilizing the funds that we have however we can, looking at the restrictions, looking at how we can use them to sort of make our operations work in the way that we want them to work at the same time. Like with most organizations, personnel costs are really the challenging part this year. We've had health insurance costs go up significantly, as well as just sort of basic cost of living, getting to the right place with our staff has been a piece of that puzzle. I've done the best as I could to distinguish how we are sort of asking for city funding to be applied versus how we are independently applying our own funding, and to have a sort of a sense of where we are asking for this support. At the end of the day, we're asking for slightly less support for our total budget, about 78%, as opposed to closer to 80-85% has been typical in the past several years. With that, that's a lot of information, but I'll be happy to answer any questions, so thank you all so much for your time.
Great, thank you, Sophie. Any questions or comments? Councilor Hewitt?
As the City Council liaison to the library, I want to thank Sophie and her staff for the amazing job they do every day for all levels of our community, from the babies all the way up to the senior citizens. You guys are remarkable, and I know you've been taking on a lot of challenges with an older building. Heard that from some members of your building committee, and you've done an amazing job. So, especially with the internet, I mean, that was a major undertaking, and it is so vital for the kids going there, for doing homework, to people that are trying to work from the library. It's a great service, and it keeps it moving to the current, times, and it's really important. So, thank you so much, and I support this increase in the funding.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Gunn?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Sophie, could you, I suppose for the public's benefit and for ours for that matter, could you elaborate a little bit on this, this Minerva consortium that you were talking about? Because to your credit, yes, I was, the last couple months, though, when it comes to anything state, federal funding, we're seeing the headlines. So I'm just curious about, because you said get a hold of something before, money gets away from us, though, what that would entail.
So the Minerva Library Consortium is about 60 libraries throughout the state that lend books freely amongst each other. So essentially, if I want a book that's in Biddeford, I can either have them drive it over to me, or I can go over there and get it myself with my Saco library card. That's the goal, is to make a freedom of movement a little more accessible. It will improve access to our patrons. Instead of having the $60,000 items that are in our collection, it's 2 some odd million items that'll sort of be circulating throughout. This will also, again, like I said, enable walk-in borrowing. For someone who's driving through Scarborough, it's easier for them to stop there and get something. Go right ahead. It'll sort of move things along a little bit more quickly. It reduces our need to have 15 copies of the most recent Paul Doiron book, because we can buy 5, and then they'll sort of circulate throughout the state. We'll share with the communities that have finished reading there faster. They'll come down here. We can share resources more effectively. At the end of the day, librarians love to share. So we are trying to sort of be more efficient by doing this. The piece of the puzzle that I referenced in terms of the funding challenge is at the state level. The group that does the technical data transfer from one computer program to another is undergoing a bit of turmoil right now as the state library is having some funding challenges. This project will happen. We are prepared for this project to happen whenever they are ready. We don't have a direct date, but it will be able to happen at this point. The investment in time and cost was not humongous, and it's also going to be valuable at whatever point we can make this transition. It's sort of moving from our system currently is not analog, but it feels like it some days. It's moving from a very late 90s system to a contemporary system that we need to be in. Moving from short barcodes to long barcodes for anyone who cares about that kind of fun thing. Hopefully that helped answer.
Most certainly. I want to thank you for that, though, because like I said, the way things are these days, though, to be in front of that funding, so we have the funds ready when the red tape is finally ripped apart, I think is going to be very prudent. So I commend you for not standing at attention, waiting for the state to get their act together. I appreciate that.
Thank you. Councilor Hatch?
Thank you, Mayor McPhail. Sophie, I'm hearing wonderful things about you and the library, so welcome, and I'm glad that things are going well. And I do agree that taking a bite at the apple now is a good idea. Let's get it behind us. I'm sure that there's much more to do, but let's get heading in that direction. One thing I'd just like to leave you with, which you're probably aware of, is that the library, I'm hearing that your outreach to other organizations and trying to use the library as a centerpiece for meetings and gatherings, I think is a tremendous strategy. And also, I'm going to put a plug in for my Rotary Club. There are organizations in the community that have a deep sense of commitment to literacy, and Rotary is one of them. And I'm proud of my club. They're the ones that built the outdoor children's reading area, which is a great project for us. And I understand that that we have a potential flagpole on the horizon, which would be another great thing. And I believe my club helped to put in the accessibility of the walkway to the main entrance. So my point is not just my club, there's other clubs in the area, other organizations that I think you can continue to reach out to and help you get some of these, these defined projects funded.
Thank you, and I intend to. One part of the strategy in putting together the budget this year was to focus on sort of the operational needs of the day-to-day. There aren't a ton of projects in it. There's a little bit of room for projects in there, but at the end of the day, projects, looking for independent fundraising for specific projects is the way that I want to go. I would prefer to sort of privately finance the gravy, but let the, ask the city to really do the meat and potatoes for us, right? Like, we need that to keep going. But to take a chance, we can find other sources for that. Thank you.
Okay, great. Anyone else? Okay, not seeing anyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, and last for the supported entities this evening is the Biddeford Saco Old Orchard Beach Transit.
I like it when it works. Hi, my name's Rod Carpenter. I'm the Deputy Director at Biddeford Saco Lodge Beach Transit, and also a resident of City of Saco for the last 27 years down in Camp Ellis. So we've hired a new executive director that is going to start next Monday. I was hoping he'd be here tonight to introduce him, but he's on his last cruise till he starts. So we'll take you through this the best we can and get through it. Thank you. Statistics are actually 2023 because of the National Transit Database hasn't put our 24 statistics in yet. But the annual service miles are 473,000 miles per year. Ridership was 258,000 miles, 258,000 rides, and the annual vehicle revenue hours is 28,697 hours. Here's a monthly graph I share with the board each month, and as you can see in the yellow, the ridership this year is still increasing, and it has been increasing since the COVID years, and so things are coming. The amount of technology that has been introduced since from Chad Hyde in the last few years has helped tremendously in all this with announced stops. Automatic, you pick up your phone, you can see where the bus is. Like I said, the amount of technology just helps a lot. We actually measure our on-time performance, which has helped quite a bit. We're at 77% right now. Next month, I don't know how we'll be with the Route 1 Biddeford and Main Street, Lower Main Street. But we take that into consideration, and 77% is of good quality, I think, and we're pretty happy with that. As you know, we designed, or had designed, we received a grant from Department of Transportation, Federal Department of Transportation, for a microgrid system. The microgrid system was totally engineered, ready to go. We actually had a training on February 19th in Biddeford on microgrid systems, and we did not receive our first application for implementation award. However, we will be reapplying, and the engineering consultant company is actually working on alternative funding in case we don't receive it on the second time. But those drawings are all in place. The whole plan is in place, so just a matter of securing funding for that. As you all know, we cut away from the city of Biddeford as far as our financial. They used to cover all our financial stuff for us. We no longer do that. We've taken on Oracle or NetSuite, doing our own financials, and July 1st, we'll be cutting over to that. They've been working on it about 6 months now. We have had our own bank account since January 1st and taking care of all of the deposits. So we're finishing up 23, 24 audits. Assets, GL codes are all done, and we're working on procedures and training now to finish that up so we can have a July 1st start. Our fare systems are totally being replaced through a Maine DOT grant, so our readers will be able to take credit cards, phone payment, and not just the UMO. The tablets that go with them, all that, actually the tablets were just ordered today, so we're hoping within the next month we'll start seeing new readers on the buses, all electronic. And it'll have the chip card technology. Rolling stock, we did receive a free bus, a 2011 Gillig from Metro, which we went through, wrapped it with our branding, and redid the signage, and that is on the road today. I have secured 2 free buses out of Massachusetts, 2013 Gilligs that are being replaced. They cost around $20,000 each to outfit them. That's to wrap them, rebrand them, put in head signs, put in all the technology, and then whatever else that they need to bring them up to standard. In this budget, we have a new Gillig 35-foot in the budget proposal for $800,000. We have 2 new electric 35-foot buses on order, and the company that we use had gone bankrupt, and another company bought them out, and they're struggling. So next week, that's one of the first things on my list, to talk with the new director about whether we're going to foresee that contract or whether we're going to rebid those and find somebody else. The pilot microtransit started today. We have 2 vans that were bought through a capital grant. There's no matching money on those. Software training's complete. We're working on marketing right now, and they kicked off today. So that I have a slide later on that will show you the little ad for that. Our fuel systems was put in 1995. As you know, they changed and offer an exemption on replacing the fuel tank because we have a fiberglass tank lined with alarms. We do not have to replace the tank. We do have to replace the pumps are actually 1978 pumps. So the drive mat and the fuel island, canopy, all that will be totally replaced. All the piping to the tank, and that we just received the bid on that from Simard in Lewiston for $254,000. We're checking before we actually award the bid, checking for its completeness. And then that will be done and should be good for another 30 years. We actually just brought in a new diesel bid for 80,000 gallons, so $2.38 a gallon, which we're pretty happy with. And there's the new Quick Ride logo on microtransit. RTP in Portland also uses this same Quick Ride. We're trying to get our branding all together so we keep our identity, but in the same token, have the same type of branding, so no matter where you are, you can identify with the program. And this is a door-to-door service within the zones. Funding request, as you know, in the funding request letter, 24 was $250,000. FY25 is $280,000. That's this year, and next year we're asking for $315,000, which is 12.5%. Our biggest problem is match dollars. We operate mostly on federal grants and state grants, and we require the match to meet that. Federal Transit Administration funds partial apportionment. What happens with the PAX region is we only have partial apportionment this year. We're hoping before tonight to get the FDA to have the full apportionment, and they do not have that. And that's why you'll see the budget I sent has a deficit in it, which what we call a rolling deficit, but some of that may be taken care of in this when we get the full apportionment. So it's a split letter for all the transportation in our region, and that's how they do that. We're waiting on the full apportionment. Some of the rolling capital projects, so even though that's a $9 million budget, just over 4 of that is actually operations. The rest is capital. And some of the rolling capital projects that roll year to year is the overhead bus charging that we're looking to put at the Saco Transportation Center. We've been working on that since 2021. So that money just rolls and has been rolling. We have the charges in place at our facility at Pomelo, and they just shipped out the actual overhead panoramic charges that will come down and hook to the bus. So those are actually on a truck somewhere between Atlanta and here. The fuel system upgrades, I already talked to you about microgrid system. They're still researching for the funding. Partial portion of the funding for the diesel bus is in what they call 5339 projects, which is FDA. And PAX did not fund those because they don't have the full apportionment. However, when they get the full apportionment, they will come back and most likely fund those projects. So those projects are on the table, recommended 0 funding just until they get the full apportionment of funds so they can fund them, okay? So that would be out of that $800,000, that'd be $202,667 coming out of 5339 money. The rest would be coming out of our 5307 grant funding, which is urban. So the actual revenue is $187,500, and that's the basic revenue that we're pretty sure of. However, advertisement, those types of things obviously fluctuate all the time, and kind of like you folks with car registrations and those things, you gotta hope for the best. But the grant funding's figured in here. Full funding, if you fund our request, is in here, and it comes to $9.1 million. So the region 5307 regional formula for PAX is pretty much this. So there's $619,969 coming through PAX to us. And then it shows the other. So they have a total of $4 million between all the transit agencies, and that's where that split is. I don't think you need me to go down through every line of this expense sheet, do you?
No, thank you.
We are going to bring back the Camp Ellis trolley. I really thought I'd get a smile out of you, Mike.
I had a preview that was coming. Thank you.
So it's only going to be Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday with an early day on Sunday. For that, we're able to drop expenses down to $16,207. We think with the advertisement, the in marketing, including the fairs, that we should be able to match that money or come pretty close to it, so. As you know, and for some of the newer folks, Biddeford Saco Lodge Beach Transit Committee is made up of the 3 communities. It's a quasi-municipal committee made up of 3 seats from each community. It started in 1978. That's when the old Biddeford Saco bus lines actually defaulted, and the 3 communities jumped in and made it happen. Sitting on our seat from Saco is John Bohenko, Phil Hatch, and Gene Saunders. And thank you very much for the time and commitment that you folks put to this committee, because without you, we'd be lost. I mean, it really takes quite a bit to run an organization this size. Each community provides an equal share of funding. That's in the bylaws, that's in the charter. All funds are used to match existing grants for capitals and operations at either 80% or 50%. Without the match dollars, we leave funding on the table. Last year, we left funding on the table. So, just a quick example, if any one community cuts, it'll be threefold. So for instance, an example, you cut $10,000, 3 communities is $30,000, and if that's an 80% match, it's $150,000. So a simple $10,000 equates to a $150,000 hole in our budget. A lot of people don't understand that, so. That's all I have. I want to thank the council. You folks don't, sometimes it's a thankless job for what you do, and we appreciate, and I appreciate everything you do.
Thank you, Rod. We appreciate the time you've put into filling in as interim during the process.
Thank you.
Any questions or comments? Councilor Berman.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor, and thank you for that presentation. I had 3 questions written down before. I was wondering about how your ridership was doing. I was wondering about the future of transit and microtransit, and I was going to ask about the Camp Alice trolley if you didn't mention it. And you answered all 3 questions right there in the presentation. So, yeah, fabulous presentation. Really thank you for the clarity, and really appreciate seeing the work that's been done, especially under, change in leadership. You guys have gotten a lot done, and I'm sure that was a ton of work. So really appreciate that, and thank you. We were down at the beach doing a cleanup over the weekend, and the return of the trolley was a big deal in Camp Ellis. It's really going to help them out.
I probably took more grief than you did on that, so. Because I walk by the house every day.
but it's a big deal down there, and
it is.
And the businesses are growing and they're thriving, and we believe that's going to be two-way traffic and really important. As is the increase in ridership. It's it's hard to get an increase in ridership without an increase in service, but you guys are managing to really see those numbers grow year after year after COVID. So that's a difficult thing to do, and I appreciate seeing that.
I really feel the technology helped a lot. We know where everything is. We know how many people are boarding at what stop, how many people are getting off at what stop. We have a software called Remix that Chad brought in, and for all our planning. So next month makes 30 years for me. And I'll tell you what, Nate probably remembers, I'm more excited than ever. I mean, I'm supposed to be retiring, but I'm more excited than ever because of all the chain of events and the building that we're doing, and it's just, it's great. I'm sorry, it's great.
That's incredible. Thank you. I hope you get to retire, but not too soon.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit more about the microtransit, where it is now, how people find it, and what you think the future of that is?
So they can go right to our website. They can I won't say self-explanatory. You can call our customer service line. They will walk you through it. If you do not want to use the app to book your ride, you can call customer service and they'll book it for you. We are trying to get folks to actually download the app and book their ride through the app to minimize our customer service time. That is, we're trying to fill the gaps in our transportation area that we can take our fixed route services and have them more frequent, and then having the microtransit feed to it, or if you have a medical or something like that, need to get up to the Barrow Road, those zones are set just for that, to address those situations. So, and in the fare for the microtransit is the same as the regular bus. So.
Thank you. Councillor Hatch?
Thank you, Mayor McPhail. Thank you, Rod. Good job.
Thank you.
I would like the sentiments expressed on carrying the ball while we've been waiting for the arrival of John Savage. So he's coming next week. We're very excited about that. And I think that you've heard from Rod. It's just, I've only been involved for the 4.5 years I've been on the council, and it's just from my own perspective, an incredible transition of growth and improvement and commitment to public transit. I think the technology, the financial controls, the breaking away from, with all due respect, from Biddeford so we can just be ourselves and take care of our own books has been a major accomplishment. We've got working on route designs. We got the microtransit, which is different than the microtransit that we heard earlier from Age Friendly. I think they can take care of two different audiences. But I do want to point out how important it is to think about the money that we give and the leverage that we give transit when they can leverage our money significantly. And I cringe when I hear, and it's true, but I hear that we left money on the table. And we left money on the table because, you know, we didn't have enough contribution from the communities. And so the numbers that we're looking at, the 315 this year, was given to us by Chad 3 years ago. He said, expect this because we've got to get our funding where it should be. And I'm not even sure we're there,
you know,
but we're a lot closer because we had a game plan here. And then lastly, I just want to remind everybody, as excited as we all are, including myself, that the trolley's coming back to Camp Ellis. That trolley cost has got to be covered by ridership and advertising, and I'm hopeful that the folks in the Camp Ellis community who wanted this are going to pony up, because that money does not come out of our allocation. It can't. Okay, the trolley system is a self-funding system. So if we don't assemble enough revenue from those sources to cover the cost of this route, it will be problematic for us internally at BSoup Transit, because we don't have money to subsidize, and it has nothing to do with the $315,000 that we're providing. So I just want to make that clear, and let's just get everybody on the bandwagon here. Everybody's been clamoring for this trolley, so let's get the ridership, let's get the support of the businesses who are down in the Camp Ellis area that are going to benefit from this, and let's hope we can make it work. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, not seeing anyone. Thank you so much.
It's my bedtime.
All right, that completes our supported entity portion, and I would like to thank all of our directors and their groups. Great job by everybody. Lots of great ideas. Love to see what's coming down, and it looks like a very promising year. Okay, so moving back to our departments. First on the list, we do have the assessing, and that is page 63 of your budget book.
Good evening, Mayor.
Good evening.
Councilors, Administrator Bahenko. Sean and I are going to present the assessing budget for this year and provide an update on our goals and kind of some statistics on what we've been doing the last year. So just an overview of our department. We have 3 full-time employees. That hasn't changed over the past 3 years. We do have one change, though. Brooke left us to become an assessor in another community, which is great for her, sad for us. But we now have Antonio Giano. He's our property appraiser. And, yep, there we are. And now I'm going to let Sean talk about sort of our year in review.
Sure. Hello. So over the past year, these are just some statistics about how Saco's been changing. We've added 302,000 square foot of commercial space. It represents about a 4% increase year over year, which is an acceleration over what we've seen the past few. We had a personal property audit, which was funded through the city. The previous year, it added 84 new accounts and about $16 million in new value, not tax revenue, but in value picked up. In total, the citizens of taxpayers of the city of Saco have filed 4,671 exemptions, homesteads, veterans, things like that. In total, they've saved about $1.5 million on their property taxes by filing these exemptions. LD 2003, I know we've talked a lot about it. It has pushed a massive increase in condos. 46% of the new properties we've put into our system have been condos over the past year. I don't see any sign of that slowing down. As far as medium home price, the big one everyone wants to talk about, as of 2024, it was $546,000. To give you some context, the median assessed price of a single-family home in our system is about $420,000. So there is a gap there. And in total, the city now has about 9,000 parcels, 8,977. Since 2017, that's a growth of more than 500. And again, we're not seeing that pace slow down at any point soon.
So for our budget overview, our total FY26 budget is $291,512, and that represents a 14.21% decrease compared to last year. So that's due mainly because our contracted services line, which paid for the tax equalization projects, went down $65,000. We had a 14% increase in our overall, but just a portion of that is $16,955 in a cost of living adjustment. So then we'll talk about progress on our goals. So as you all know, we have a residential data collection going on and a full commercial revaluation. Neither of those are complete. We don't have any numbers to report for this year. However, the results of those equalization projects will be reflected in the tax bills coming. It's just we don't have the information until July, possibly August. So Vision data collectors for the residential properties is more than half done. They're going to start to put the data into the system through May and June. with, again, a completion date by the end of July. KRT appraisal will be done by August 1st. This is a busy month for them. They are collecting the data from the commercial businesses, and they've been updating the tables and reviewing properties. They're pretty much 3/4 of the way through. Again, we don't have any numbers to share, but they'll be in their final reconciliation between, the different costs and approaches to value. That's the last thing they'll do, which will be final in probably August 1st. And then another update is promoting transparency within our department. We have a great communications department that has helped us to share information regarding the equalization projects, and they've been really awesome at monitoring the city's Facebook page and directing inquiries to where they should go. And I think we've been fielding phone calls, but they haven't been overwhelming. I think people are generally accepting of the process. So good news on that front.
So looking forward to FY26, the biggest thing we have is the implementation of these the tax equalization projects, both on the residential side. That will be obviously a smaller change, and then the commercial full revaluation, that will be a much more substantial change. Part of that is obviously continued citizen education, letting them know what to expect, and reviews of all of the, particularly on the commercial side, of all valuation changes. They will all be notified of valuation changes. They'll have a chance to come in and appeal that change. So those processes will all be happening as we go into FY26. In addition to that, we've also, the city has contracted with CAI Technologies. They're a GIS and mapping company to hopefully push us more fully into the 21st century as far as our GIS and mapping is concerned. I don't know if any of you have been to a planning board meeting recently where we've tried to pull up a certain parcel on the viewer and it just doesn't exist yet because it's just newer and it hasn't been there. CAI is currently in the process of moving all of our map layers into their data model, which essentially means cleaning up years of multiple people touching the data, doing it their own way, lots of legacy data that doesn't need to exist anymore, streamlining it so we can have monthly parcel updates. This will obviously be a huge boon for planning, code, economic development. In addition to that, there will be a new public-facing GIS viewer that will hopefully be easier to use, more streamlined, more functional, all of which will be, I think, a great boon to both to our departments internally and to just taxpayers in general. So we're very excited about that.
And we're a small department and not a lot of information to offer, but there's big things happening, and we'll have more to report when the revals are done.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? Councilor Hatch?
Small department, but very important. I was going to ask about what the impact of the residential and commercial revaluation, but you've answered that question. It's not, the numbers aren't available yet, so I'll sit tight on that particular question until we get into the summer. Just a general question that I've always wondered about, and maybe it's happening, and I'm just not aware. You know, when you're in a heated real estate market like we've been for the last few years, and the volatility of values which are steadily on the rise, I can imagine it's difficult to keep track of that. But my question is that when a property does sell, and we have documented records at the Registry of Deeds, a transfer tax form, do we get our hands on that document, and do we automatically increase the valuation on the property because that's an arm's length transaction, or how does that work?
We absolutely do. We get our deeds and transfer tax forms delivered every month from the registry, and no, we don't automatically, increase somebody's value because the sale price was higher. It's mass appraisal. So we take all of our sales, and we also, the state has a record of our sales as well. And so we look at like houses, ranches, colonials, are they in a subdivision, where are they? And we come up with a ratio. Not every sale is going to be X amount higher than the assessed value. They're going to be up and down. So we try to get that middle ground. And we actually, that would be called our ratio. So you have an individual ratio on a sale, and then you have an overall ratio for the city. And what we're most concerned about is the overall ratio for the city, because that's what determines whether or not we can declare 100%, which would allow us to get all of our exemptions and taxpayers to get all of their exemptions and not have to factor because we're falling so far below the market.
Okay, I get it. So you're using the document, but the formula gets you to a number that's not exactly the selling price.
Right.
I can understand that.
But if you're consistently getting, much higher prices and our values aren't keeping up, that's when you end up with a problem like we had a few years back. But we're watching them, and we will hopefully just have incremental increases and target areas that are falling below the ratio and not have to do any.
So I could buy a home and pay $50,000 more for it, but get assessed at a lower value than I paid.
Well, yes, most of our assessments are lower. We're right now, the state had us at 87%. Okay. But we're going to be able to claim 100% this year because we're having the data collectors out there, and we're also having a commercial reval. So they're comfortable with us bringing our assessments up enough to be at 100%.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Anyone else? Okay, thank you very much. Okay, next up we have administration, and that is page 53 of your budget book.
Next slide. So what you have on this first slide that I'm showing you is the citywide organizational chart. And under this chart, I have 12 direct reports to me, down from 16 from fiscal year 25. I'll talk about that a little bit further into the presentation, but I'd like to move on to the next slide. So as you can see, this is a snapshot of the Department of Administration with the city administrator, the proposed deputy city administrator, and executive administrative assistant. Last year, we had the harbor master under this department, and that has been transferred out to the fire department. What I've done with that additional position in the city administrator's department is to propose a deputy city administration for community development. That will maintain 3 personnel in the administrator's budget. Next. The overview of services, pretty much I work directly, obviously, with the city council. You as the policymakers develop policy and then direct me on how that policy should be implemented. And what I do is work with all the department heads to follow the policy development that you have made. Everything from budgets to ordinances to all different goals that may have been put forward by the city council. One thing I've noticed over the last 18 months is that we've had a lot of had a lot of replacement of major positions. In the fire department, we've had 3 positions that we've had to replace. And DPW, we've had the director's position, finance director position. We've had the budget director. Of course, we have the new facilities director. We did a reorg in the recreation department, which has been extremely successful. One of the things I'm trying to get to is get a little bit more depth in the organization. What I've noticed is that when if we have somebody leave the organization, it puts us back in terms of our productivity. because we're basically trying to fill a hole within the organization where we don't have any backup in it. One of the areas that was most obvious this year was in the finance department. And I want to thank those that are in the finance department, the interim finance director and our new finance director coming in. We've worked very hard to get our staffing up to where we believe it needs to be so that we don't get into any situations. We are fully staffed. I'm happy to say we're fully staffed in our accounting department. So I'm very happy about that. The other area is succession planning. One of the things I want to talk about is we are coming upon some retirements. So I've been working with Human Resources. I've been working with the various departments to talk about those areas where we're going to have retirements. And they are substantial areas. So what we'll try to do ahead of time is to try to bring along people within our organization. I really like to have promotion from within. It's been successful in the last 18 months from doing that, and I'd like to continue that. On another area in terms of our continuity and our ability to attract employees, in the police department, we have been receiving good news in terms of recruiting. And again, I want to thank the City Council for making that adjustment in pay last year that helped bring in a substantial new recruitment tool for us. And the chief has indicated to me that that is going well at this point. So from my perspective, I'm trying to right now set up a policy within our organization on how we're going to move forward with succession planning. Depth in the organization is a difficult thing in terms of, you don't want to have overabundance of people in your organization, but you want to try to find that balance. Next. So my overall budget for the administration is $360,000. That's about the same as it was last year, and for obvious reasons, we have moved the harbor master over to fire. In addition, a lot of utilities came out of my budget because now we have one central location for all facilities. That's another thing that I'm very happy we're moving forward with. We have that continuity there. We have a facilities director, plus we have a deputy, and we've increased areas in terms of our electricians and others so that we can save money in those areas. So we're trying to build that depth within the organization. Next. Some of the budget changes that I indicated is the cost of living, and as I mentioned just a minute ago, the $46,000 decrease is because the utilities are coming out of the administration budget. Next. So that's pretty much what I have. I didn't spend a lot of time on the specific numbers within my organization, but and within my budget, but I wanted to really bring to the attention of the council. I feel that things are moving in a very positive way in terms of our succession planning, in terms of the continuity of services we're providing, and also as we look forward to depth in our organization. So those are the things that I've been concentrating on, and we've had success, as I said, in the police department, finance department, fire department, and so we're moving forward in, I think, a very positive way. If you have any questions, I'm more than happy to try to answer them.
Thank you. Any questions or comments for the city administrator? Councilor Hatch?
Thank you, Mayor McPhail. I've said this publicly before, but I'll say it again. John, I think that's one of the reasons I'm pleased that you're with us. You brought a lot of depth and experience to the table, and I would agree with you, having worked for large organizations, creating a culture where promotion from within is within grasp and is encouraged does, I think, help build morale and strengthens the organization. So I appreciate that effort. I think the strategy is a good one, and I hope we can continue to strengthen what you've already done so far.
Great, thank you. Anyone else? Okay, thank you so much. All right, next up, we have Public Works. Is this going to be in conjunction with capital?
Yeah, well, they'll kind of roll together.
Okay, so Director Moore will be doing both the Public Works presentation as well as the capital program.
And our finance director will be coming forward too during capital. Thank you.
Thank you. And this is page 106 of your budget books.
Slideshow.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council, City Administrator. I appreciate the opportunity to present the fiscal year 26 Public Works Department budget. Like the Mayor said, this is on page 106 of the budget book. So I'm going to start out with the organizational chart, and I just have to pause and recognize everybody below that top box. They are a very talented group. I am honored to work with each and every one of them, and without them, I wouldn't be able to, put forward this budget and, do amazing things for the community. So on the personnel side, we have 40.5 positions. As you know, the facilities department was created. So I'll just kind of go through. We were, like the succession planning that John was talking about, we were able to bring in a second city engineer last November. That's been great to work with the current city engineer who has a wealth of knowledge. He's been a city employee for 10 years, and he's worked in the community doing City of Saco projects for an additional 20 years. So there's a lot of institutional knowledge there that it's been great to be able to have somebody working with him to learn all of those items. Some of the other items, we typically have three crew structures. We have a utility crew that does all of our drain and sewer projects. We have a paving crew that does all of our paving, street work. Then we have a general supervisor who oversees a transfer station as well as many other items as far as, the Camp Ellis Pier, beach trash. He handles all the community parades and events. So that's kind of our crew structure as well as the transfer station as well. So kind of just some matrix of public work. So each year we receive roughly about 1,400 iWorks requests. That's the software that we use that our residents as well as city staff can put in requests to have some items taken care of. And out of those 1,400, about 85% of those are related to public works. So we get plenty of citizen requests that we address each and every one of them. As far as opening permits, street opening permits required for any time a contractor or resident is working in a right-of-way, and on average, we receive about 95 of those each year, and those could be as little as a new driveway being paved to a construction project that a utility company is replacing an entire infrastructure. Streets, the Public Works maintains 134 miles of roadway. 9.2 of that has been added the last 5 years. We've seen a lot of growth. Most recently, the acceptance of the Park North development, we saw almost 5 miles of roadway. Sidewalks, we have 55 miles of sidewalks, and again, 3.8 miles of that was added in the last 5 years. And of that 55 miles, we plow roughly 40 miles, plus or minus. Our garage staff maintains all the city fleet, and on average, we do 700 scheduled services each year. Those are just scheduled PMs, oil changes, and then on top of that 700, we also have other work orders that come in that are not planned. And the city also has 2.2 miles of city-owned and maintained railroad tracks. So for the 2025 accomplishments, Public Works has been working with Maine DEP along with other MS4 communities to develop a low-impact development ordinance where we've been working with the other communities and working directly with Public Works and Planning to review any items that come in on that, and we're hoping to have a draft ordinance to review hopefully this fall. FEMA, the city was able to get a Category B dune restoration project approved through FEMA, and that will be done during the 25-26 dredge season. That'll be utilizing the York County dredge. We're currently working with York County and Anchor Engineering now to make sure that we have all the permits and easements in place. Just to follow up on that, the city continues to work with York County. York County's been hugely a very good resource for us. They've been actively reaching out and applying for grants on behalf of the city of Saco as well as other coastal communities in York County. And then our efforts to fill vacancies has been going well. We actually were full staffed for about a month. Unfortunately, we did just have a truck driver give their resignation, but we've got the job posting out and we'll be recruiting for that. So for 2026 goals, we're going to continue working with the city's first citywide transportation master plan. Public Works, Planning has been working hand in hand on that as well as bringing in any other city departments along the way. We're through the study phase. We're moving on to the planning phase, so we're hoping to have something that we can bring towards traffic safety soon, and then have that scheduled to be completed in the fall of 25. With the award of the extension to the solid waste contract with Casella Waste, we're going to be working with them to deploy an app to the residents, and what that will do is it's similar to the EcoMaine Recyclepedia, but residents can put in items and that'll tell them whether they're recyclable, not recyclable, whether we take them at the transfer station, if it's something that we would take at hazard waste day, as well as if it's nothing that goes to any of those receptacles, we would have resources throughout southern Maine where they could dispose of those. And the other piece to that too is up-to-date information. If anything changes, fee schedules, any hours if we close the transfer station due to a storm, or whether a route is delayed because of an equipment breakdown or something's rescheduled. Anybody who signs up for this app will get notified. So that'll be very helpful. And then working the Goose Fair Brook watershed, that's an urban impaired stream. So we are working on updating our watershed management plan. And what that'll do is we're looking to extend that for another 10 years. And having that management plan will allow the city to maintain eligibility for the 319 grants, which are stormwater retrofits to treat non-source pollution into the impaired watershed. So for the budget overview, It's showing a 2% decrease in the budget this year. You are all aware that that's due to the facilities department being, removed from the public works budget. So if the facilities department was still within the public works budget, we would have a net increase of 5.5%. So just give you a little bit of context there. Revenues, this is Public Works and Facilities revenues. So the first line that says Public Works revenues, this has a change from fiscal year 25 for $34,000. That's to do with the facilities and the schools reimbursements. As far as street opening permits, transfer station and sewer impact fees, we're comfortable that we're gonna remain at the same levels as 2025. So some of the changes from fiscal year 25 to 26. I talked about the net decrease with the facilities department going out on their own. Public Works, we did receive an additional 5 miles of roadway this past fall. So that has shown in a reflection of the winter chemicals and sand items. We are working to increase training and travel to keep department staffs up with the changing regulatory requirements. That goes hand in hand with increasing the contracted services to help with the MS4 regulatory compliance and outfall monitoring. The outfall monitoring samplings are getting more and more each year. There's additional items that we need to do and additional testing. So we are working with a consultant to help facilitate some of those. And then just the overall cost of materials. We're seeing increases in aggregates, in our paving, street supplies. 2 years ago, a stop sign was $50. Now they're up to $70. So we're really seeing some increase in some of those, everyday supplies that we use, as well as aggregates. We used to be able to contract that out for a 3 to 5 year contract. Now we're pretty much forced to do that every year because the prices are changing with the cost of doing business. So I'll pause there on the Public Works budget before I move into the capital. Are there any questions?
Great, thank you, Crafts. Any questions or comments for Director Moore? Councilor Berman?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor. Thank you, Director Moore. Not a question, just so much as a comment. I've seen you at every Shoreline Commission meeting that I've attended, and working with the county on the Coastal Resilience Project and reaching that Category B certification is a really big deal. I'm not sure if everyone in the public is aware, but it not only protects us against the increased storm intensity we're seeing, but it also changes the types of reimbursement and federal and state assistance we can get for those kinds of repairs. So while it seems like a bit of a cost right now, it actually is an investment in our future, both the future of the beach and coast, but also a financial investment in our ability to get those federal reimbursements. Working with the county on the dredge and the beach management plan are also just really important. And I've noticed since you've taken over the position, really the ability to move some of those projects forward has really just blossomed. And I know everybody on my ward and the beach is really appreciative, but this is really a citywide asset. Right? Everybody in Saco goes to the beach. Everybody in Saco benefits from having that coastline, both culturally and economically. And I've just really recognized your work there and really appreciate it.
Yeah, York County's been a huge resource to help get some of those items pushed through.
Okay, great, thank you. Anyone else? Okay, not seeing anyone. Moving on to the capital program.
All right. So I have my sidekick, Jennifer, up here with me now. So I'll go over the 2026 to 2030 capital improvement plan that can be found on page 215 of the budget book. So I'll go over a few projects for fiscal year 25. One of them is the Lund Road storage facility. So last year there was $375,000 budgeted to repair the foundation of the Lund Road storage facility, as well as fix the roof that's leaking and fix a little bit of the outside siding. So we had an engineering firm come in, look at the foundation. Their estimate is $592,000 to do the foundation repair, and that's not patching the roof, that's not fixing any of the siding. The other caveat to that is that's a brownfield cleanup site, so we don't know what we would be getting into for environmental cleanups, depending on what we found for soils. Once they were dug out, they would have to be removed from the site and disposed of. So that would obviously be, a risk of some larger additional costs. So what I would like to do is, in this budget moving forward, is take that $375,000 and over the next 2 years fund a storage building at Public Works at 15 Phillips Spring Road, a 60 by 80 building that is identical to the other cold storage building that we have. And then we could, work to decommission the Lund Road storage building down the road. The other item, kind of as John talked about earlier, was staff changes, the Public Works rooftop solar. I have reached out to the contractors, the vendors that we were using. I think that we have come to, we're making some progress. They're supposed to be getting me some numbers back. We did get over the warranty issue on the roof. We can install items there and not void any warranty. Just needs to be done by a certified contract with pre and post inspections, a typical project details. So I will be continuing communications with those, and I'll be bringing those back as those conversations progress. The other item is the Boom Road culvert. That was awarded to R.J. Grondin, and that will be beginning after July 15th once the in-stream work window is open, and that will be completed by October of 25. So the 26 to 30 capital improvement plan, this year is broken down by the different classes, the buildings, the grounds, infrastructure, utilities, vehicles, and equipment. And for fiscal year 26, we're looking at $6.99 million for the capital plan. And that's on page 217. And then this is a chart that breaks down the categories based by cost and the percentage that they represent in the capital plan. And then some of the items, so the capital outlay net increase is 46% identified in the capital improvement plan. And some of those items, it's $750,000 for seacoast resiliency, and that includes dredging, it includes dune restoration, sand replenishment, and the sheet pile wall. $230,000 for the Ferry Road culvert, that's for to cover the additional length for the multi-use path. And then $175,000 for the Dyer Library for capital improvements. That's fire system upgrades, parking lot upgrade, and youth service space reconfiguration. So to break down the $750,000, so $250,000 would be for the category B dune restoration. That would put 1,200 cubic yards of sand between Eastern Ave and Lower Beach in the area that there is no armored stone. $300,000 would be for the sand replacement. That would be dredging an additional 6,000 cubic yards of sand, and that would pretty much go from the jetty back towards like the north and Main towards Lower Beach, the same area that we put the dredging material back in 2018. And then $200,000 is for the sheet pile wall located at North Ave and Eastern Ave. That'll be funded over the next two budgets, $200,000 this fiscal year, and then $225,000 next fiscal year. That's in today's dollars without escalators. And that is what I have. Are there any questions?
Okay, thank you so much. Any questions or comments regarding the capital plan? Councilor Hatch?
Thank you, Mayor McPhail. Just a question on the the beach costs. So you have the I see the 750. Can you tell me if there's a portion of that or all of that that might actually prevent future costs? I know we have washouts of streets and things we almost routinely have to replace every year. Are any of these costs, I'm looking at the sheet pile wall in particular, is that something that when it's in could potentially save us money down the road?
Yep, so what the nature of that sheet pile wall, that location at the corner of Eastern and North, that's where we lose the section of roadway that's in between the Jersey barriers now.
Yeah.
Knock on wood, we were fortunate this past
Yeah,
winter
we
that
were.
we didn't have to rebuild it. But what that'll do is will be designed to prevent losing that roadway and to be able to keep access open.
And in today's cost, what would that roadway replacement be roughly?
It depends on how severely, it's usually between, $150,000 to $250,000 depending on.
So it's a sizable amount of money.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Councilor Berman?
Thank you. And just to build on that, I've gotten a bit of a lesson in physical oceanography over the past few years as a council member. And the sand placements are also actually protective measures. The way it works with the tides and currents is material is going to move south to north in our bay, and some material is going to move. So we place sand, and the wave action then moves the sand. And if we didn't have sand, it would move shoreline and then houses south to north. So the sand actually serves as a protective buffer because of the way the wave energy works. Material is going to move, and that can be sand material, or it can be roadways and houses, and those are really the choices we're making.
Yep. And we're still working with York County to get a category G, which is 100-year storm protection, which would be a fully engineered beach system that would be able to be reimbursed through FEMA during storm events. So we're still working. York County's actively, applying for grants to fund the design and ultimately the construction of that category G.
Councilor Hatch?
Thank you, Mayor McPhail. One other item that I forgot to mention, we had an email to the council this afternoon about the BPI funding for the left turn lane on Simpson Road, if in fact materializes. I think that's still an open question. We have a deadline coming up this fall. And maybe it's in here, I don't, or maybe it's in some other location, but is that $308,000 budgeted in some?
So that would have been budgeted in a
previous year?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're just going to carry that forward?
Yeah.
Okay, great, thank you.
Okay, anyone else? Councilor Gunn?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just a quick question for you about the old Lund Road facility that you were talking about. Are we in a situation where it would just behoove us to tear it down, or is the building still usable as some sort of storage space? Because obviously, like you said, not probably cost-benefit positive to try to actually go in and with all the brownfield situation. How do you envision using the property as is?
I think right now we'll continue to monitor the foundation, but I think in years down, it's probably, I would say 3 to 5 years down the road, we're probably going to need to discontinue use of that.
So not even usable, like it's just basically it's just a general shed. I mean, probably just tear the thing down, probably.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And we could always explore some at-grade storage, whether it be Connex boxes or there are some other at-grade options.
Councilor Hewitt?
I know this is it says predicted for 2029, but I'm just questioning Burns School. It says Burns School $1 million. Won't they be going to the new school by then?
They're anticipating renovating the building. Yeah.
Okay.
Did Councilor Johnston answer your question? Councilor Johnston, could you repeat what you, for record?
Yeah, I assume that's anticipation of a renovation of the building.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, anyone else? All right, I think that's it. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
Okay, so that completes the presentations for this evening. Moving on to item 10, that's the administrative update. City Administrator Bahenko.
Thank you, Your Honor. One thing I want to mention is Central Maine Power is going to be conducting a program here at City Hall, Modernizing Maine's Power Grid on Wednesday, April 30th at 8 a.m. It really is an event that focuses on small business owners, municipal leaders, residents who want to understand the future of energy in Maine and how a modern grid will impact their lives and businesses. So we're encouraging people, if they have an interest in this, to attend. Again, that's at 8 a.m. on April 30th, this Wednesday. The other item that I have is that for the fundraiser for the Harbor Fest, there will be at White's Restaurant at Camp Ellis Beach on Saturday, May 3rd. Registration begins at 12 p.m. That's a second annual cornhole tournament to benefit Camp Ellis Harbor Fest. And the registration is at 12 p.m. on May 3rd, and the tournament starts at 1 p.m. The other thing I want to bring to the council's attention is we have not reviewed the fee schedule. I will bring that on for next week. We do have the public hearing for next week, but I think we'll also have the fee schedule to review as well. Let's see. That's all I have, Your Honor.
Great, thank you. Any questions or comments for the City Administrator?
Oh, one thing, if I might, Your Honor.
Please.
If people have amendments they want to provide me with, there have been a couple council members that have requested amendments. I'm going to try to put them in a format so that we can compile them. Obviously, you can make your amendments up until the time of adoption of the budget, but for the ability of keeping things in order, it's helpful to have them.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to item 11, council discussion and comment. Any councilors wishing to speak? Councilor Berman?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor. Just a really quick request from some constituents. If the supported entities presentations could be put on the budget website along with the departmental budgets, I think that would really help transparency for the public.
Are you talking about having the video or just their presentation?
Just their presentations.
Okay.
Okay, anyone else? Okay, not seeing anyone. That takes us to item 12, and that is adjournment. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Motion made by Councilor Hatch. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilor Edwards. Roll call vote. Councilor Edwards?
Yes.
Councilor Parks?
Yes.
Councilor Gunn?
Yes.
Councilor Berman?
Yes.
Councilor Hatch?
Yes.
Councilor Hewitt?
Yes.
And Councilor Johnston?
Yes.
Motion to adjourn passes 7-0 at 9:33. Thank you, everyone, and have a great evening.